Chapter 6:17. Damn it, he even raped his own master's woman. He even slaughtered his master's entire family because of this. This is the sanctimonious elder Gao Ji? What a scumbag! While Murong Yu was reading the memories, the images that Gao Ji displayed with his divine ability were constantly changing. When Murong Yu read Gao Ji's memories, everyone in the sacred hall saw this scene. When they saw Elder Gao Ji's innumerable bad deeds, these people couldn't help but curse out loud. Gao Ji had committed all kinds of evil deeds, and countless innocent people had been killed by him. Apart from those above, he had also bullied men and women, slaughtered other sects, and then amassed a lot of wealth. What made Murong Yu furious was that Gao Ji always relied on his identity as Shengzhen's elder whenever he did bad things. For example, if he took a fancy to a female disciple of a certain sect, or someone with other identities, he would think of ways to use his identity to get the other party, and once he was tired of her, he would either give her away, expel her, or even kill her. If someone did not comply, they would be killed by him, along with their sect and even their entire family. Gao Ji, you deserve to die. Looking at these scenes, Yu's entire body trembled. He had always thought that Gao Ji was a good person, a good elder who did his best for Shengzhen. However, he did not expect that the other party was actually a human in human skin. Human scum. On the surface, Gao Ji had always been thinking for Shengzhen. In reality, he had constantly ruined Shengzhen's reputation, and even stole Shengzhen's various resources. Lu Nan, who was beside him, also looked at these portraits in shock. Although he knew that Gao Ji was not a bad person, at the same time, he did not think that he was a good person. However, he did not expect Gao Ji to be so bad. He could not catch up to him even if he tried. However, very quickly, his expression changed from shock to horror. That was because the fact that he and Gao Ji were in cahoots had been exposed. Gao Ji, what else do you have to say? Murong Yu released his control over Gao Ji, and said with a gloomy face and overflowing killing intent. Gao Ji's face was ashen. He knew that his evil deeds had been exposed when Murong Yu controlled him. Therefore, when Murong Yu released his control over him, his eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he instantly exploded with all his strength, charging towards Murong Yu with a punch. Murong Yu's eyes were overflowing with killing intent. He did not do anything, he only snorted coldly. With a bang, Gao Ji's entire body had exploded into a cloud of blood mist. At the same time, Murong Yu blew out a breath of air, turning the blood mist into nothingness. Gao Ji's father, Murong Yu, Lu of Murong Yu, and Murong Yu. Ancestor, please spare my life. We have sinned. Please spare our lives, Ancestor. After witnessing Murong Yu's methods, how could Lu Nan and the rest still dare to quibble? Instantly, one by one, they knelt down and begged Murong Yu for mercy. When you killed those innocent people, did you ever think of sparing their lives? When your hands were stained with blood, did you ever think that many of those who died in your hands were innocent? Murong Yu's face was gloomy, and he looked at everyone indifferently as he spoke slowly. Ancestor, we have done wrong. We will definitely change. We will make it up to you. A disciple of Shengzhen pleaded with Murong Yu while crying bitterly. There are many things that cannot be made up for. You will never be able to make up for your crimes. No, Ancestor. Please spare our lives. We will definitely turn over a new leaf. Hearing Murong Yu's words, everyone was horrified and begged for mercy. They did not dare to make a move, because they knew that even if they made a move, they would not be able to change anything. With their strength, a single breath from Murong Yu would be enough to kill them. A cold light flashed in Murong Yu's eyes, and he said in a deep voice, "It's too late." While Murong Yu was speaking, bang, 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 the dozens of people in the sacred hall all exploded at the same time, turning into clouds of blood mist. Then, the blood mist quickly dissipated. When he saw Gao Ji's memory, He was already shocked and furious. Even if Murong Yu did not make a move, he wanted to kill him. However, why would Murong Yu let him make a move? Although they were all villains and their stars were not low, the only good thing they could do in their lives was to contribute star points to Murong Yu. He did not know how Murong Yu knew that these people were villains. However, after the incident with Gao Ji, Yu no longer had any doubts. Therefore, when Murong Yu killed the remaining dozens of people, he did not help to plead for mercy. Since Murong Yu had asked them to come, they must be guilty. Yu, take away the identity of Shengzhen's disciple from these people's factions and those who have committed more serious crimes. Take back everything they have obtained from Shengzhen, including their cultivation. Then, get rid of Shengzhen. At the same time, pass down the order that all Shengzhen's disciples must account for their evil deeds and the bad things they have done in half a month's time. If they do not account for it within the time limit, and I find out, kill them without mercy. Yes, master. Yu agreed without hesitation, and then left the sacred hall. No matter which faction it is, there will always be villains. It's the same for Shengzhen. However, it's fine if I don't find out. Now it's time to clean up the sect. Murong Yu muttered to himself. The reason why he gave such an order was to clean up Shengzhen. Within the sage sect, evil people could be tolerated. However, it would definitely not tolerate villains with higher star levels. It's not just Shengzhen. It's time to clean up the entire Huaxia self-cultivation world. Murong Yu's figure flashed, and then he left Shengzhen. When he reappeared, Murong Yu was already in Tianyan sect. Tianyan sect had been one of the top 10 sects in Huaxia self-cultivation world for many years. Of course, after Shengzhen's rise, Tianyan sect was still one of the top 10 sections. In fact, the Tianji sect, Tianyan sect, Yuanshu sect, and Wuji sword sect had all been destroyed by Murong Yu. Now, these 4 sects were just rebuilt. However, even so, they had squeezed back into the top 10 sects, and their strength was not bad. In the current Huaxia self-cultivation world, Chaos Shengzhen had been elevated to the level of a giant. It was a height that no one could compare to. Therefore, when the Huaxia self-cultivation world ranked the sects, Shengzhen was directly excluded. After all, if Shengzhen was included, the other sects were not qualified to stand shoulder to shoulder with Shengzhen. Therefore, in addition to Shengzhen, there were also top 10 sects in the Huaxia self-cultivation world. However, the top 10 sects were now under Shengzhen's control. There was no killing and vicious competition like before. On the contrary, they were all in a healthy competition. They only compared the disciples of the sects and the overall strength of the sects, and worked hard to become Shengzhen. Among the top 10 sects, the Hidden Fairy Valley and the Mystic Moon sect were the most developed. They were the 2 superpowers among the top 10 sections. Because the Hidden Fairy Valley and the Mystic Moon sect had a good relationship with Shengzhen, they naturally received extra care from Shengzhen. As for the other sects, Shengzhen had nothing to do with them. The Sky Expanse sect was also very strong, and one of them had reached the Immortal Realm. However, even the Immortal Realm Immortal could not discover Murong Yu in the void above their head. Of course, the current Murong Yu had already altered his appearance. With his strength, no one in the self-cultivation world would be able to discover his true appearance if he casually changed his appearance. In the main hall of the Sky Expanse sect, the sect master, vice-sect master, and many elders, as well as the core disciples of the Sky Expanse sect, were all gathered in the main hall as if they were discussing something. Suddenly, a large hand penetrated the main hall's restriction. The restriction that they were so proud of was like a piece of paper in front of that large hand and would be torn apart immediately. As soon as the large hand entered, it immediately pointed at the vice-sect master of the Sky Expanse sect. With a bang, the vice-sect master of the Sky Expanse sect was blown apart by that finger in front of everyone. Everyone was shocked and furious. Just as they were about to react, a series of images floated in the main hall. When they saw these images, the anger in their hearts was instantly extinguished. This was because these images all explained the same thing. Those were the good deeds that their vice sect master had done. There was no evil that he did not shrink from. His evil deeds simply made people develop. When the vice sect master of the Sky Expanse sect was killed, many disciples of the Sky Expanse sect were blown into a bloody mist at almost the same time or disappeared into thin air. In almost a few breaths of time, almost 1/10 of the entire Sky Expanse sect had disappeared or died. When the higher-ups of the Sky Expanse sect reacted and began to investigate who did it, they were shocked to find that these people who had died were all extremely vicious and evil people. This was because these people who died or disappeared would leave behind a jade slip at the place where they died or disappeared. Within the jade slip were the memories of those who were killed. They're all dead. The entire Sky Expanse sect was greatly shocked. They were shocked by the ruthlessness of the person who did it, and they were also shocked by the evil deeds that these villains had committed. Even more so, they were shocked by the person who did it. They could tell that these people were villains. The death of a large number of villains in the Sky Expanse sect was only the beginning. The Sky Expanse sect, the Fecta sect, the Limitless Sword sect, the Hidden Fairy Valley, the Mystic Moon sect. Within a day, a large number of disciples of the 10 great sects of the Huaxia cultivation world had died. Nearly 1/10 of the Sky Expanse sect's disciples had died, while the Fecta sect's disciples had died the most, almost reaching 40%. Among the 10 great sects, only the Hidden Fairy Valley and the Mystic Moon sect had the fewest death. This was because these two sects had relatively fewer villains. For a long time, the Hidden Fairy Valley and the Mystic Moon sect had a relatively good reputation. However, even so, over 10,000 disciples of these two sects had been killed. Among them, the Mystic Moon sect only had slightly more than 10,000 disciples, while the Hidden Fairy Valley had almost 20,000 disciples killed. It was only 1/10 of the Sky Expanse sect's disciples. Compared to 1/10 of the Sky Expanse sect's disciples and 4/10 of the Fecta sect's disciples, this was simply negligible. During this process, one of the sects attracted Morong Yu's attention. It was the Hahuan sect. This sect had always had a bad reputation in the Huaxia cultivation world. However, the number of villains killed by Morong Yu in the sect was far from 1/10. It was only about 1/20. Chapter 6:18. Hahuan sect's situation made Morong Yu sigh inwardly. Hahuan's sect had always given people the impression that they were evil and sinful. Both men and women in the sect were bad people. However, in reality, there weren't many evil people in the sect. What was seen on the surface wasn't necessarily true. On the contrary, the Tianji sect, as one of the top 10 sects in the cultivation world, had 40% of their people killed. Moreover, the ones that Morong Yu killed were those with higher stars. As for those evil people with lower stars or no stars, Morong Yu didn't kill them. In other words, if these people were included, there were more evil people in the Tianji sect, definitely more than 60%. Those who looked like evil people weren't necessarily evil people. As for the real evil people, it was impossible to tell. After killing countless evil people from the top 10 sects, Morong Yu temporarily stopped. "Steward Tian, how many stars do I have now?" Morong Yu asked in his mind. "Congratulations, young master, your current stars have reached as high as 300,000. In other words, the top 10 sects have contributed more than 200,000 stars to young master." Steward Tian's smiling voice sounded in Morong Yu's ears. "Only 200,000 stars?" Morong Yu frowned slightly. Previously, he had about 60,000 stars. In other words, Morong Yu only had 240,000 stars after killing countless evil people from the top 10 sects. In the immortal world, when he killed the Black Mysterious sect, he had already obtained more than 50,000 stars. One must know that the Black Mysterious sect wasn't very big. The number of people they had wasn't even comparable to any of the top 10 sections. Those killed by Morongyu was definitely less than 1/10 of the total number of people killed by Morongyu. However, why was it that although he killed fewer people, he had more stars? Young master, this is because their strength is different. Knowing that Morongyu still had doubts in his heart, Steward Tian continued to explain. Master is currently in the perfected golden immortal realm. For example, if you kill a 100-star great overarching golden immortal, you'll be able to obtain 100 star points. However, if you kill a 100-star evil man of the 9 heavens mysterious immortal realm, then you might be able to obtain 150 star points, and vice versa. If you killed a 100-star villainous man at the overarching heavenly supreme celestial stage, you might only obtain 50 stars. The higher the evil person's cultivation is, the more stars you will obtain after you kill him. The reverse is also true. Morongyu nodded. He finally understood. For example, the people he killed now were all from the cultivation world. These people were like ants in front of him. To him, killing these people was too easy. Thus, even though the villains he killed were of a higher grade, the number of stars he obtained was still relatively small. Furthermore, if he went to the mortal world to kill evil people, although he would also be rewarded with star points, it would definitely be so little that it would make one's hair stand on end. Young master, you should be content. Although the number of star points he obtained was relatively small. Currently, you've only killed a few evil people from the 10 great sects, and you've already obtained more than 200,000 star points. If you kill most of the evil people in Huaxia's cultivation world, then you should be able to obtain a few million star points. A few million star points. Murongyu's eyes suddenly shone with a blazing light. Exchanging for soul grass only required 1 million star points. For Murongyu, obtaining soul grass was no longer a problem. However, the more star points he obtained, the better it was for him. After all, if he needed something, he did not even need to look for it himself. He could directly exchange for it in the heaven punishment token. The more star points he obtained, the better the item he could exchange for. It could even directly increase the strength of the firmament. Most importantly, in Huaxia's cultivation world, it was very easy for Murongyu to obtain star points. Time continued to pass. Murongyu continued to attack, and people in Huaxia's cultivation world kept dying. Of course, those who died were all evil people. In the beginning, every time Murongyu killed an evil person, he would extract his memory and leave it on the spot. This was because he did not want to cause panic. He wanted to tell the world that those he killed were all evil people. Murongyu had achieved his goal by doing this. When many people found out that the people around them had suddenly died, they would always panic. However, when they found out that the person they had known for a long time was such an evil person, they felt relieved. During this period of time, countless evil people in Huaxia's cultivation world had been killed. Although they did not know who killed these evil people, there would always be people who clapped and cheered when the evil people were killed. After all, who did not want evil people in this world? Of course, although the relatives and friends of the evil people would be angry, they did not know who killed them. Naturally, they could only do nothing. In the end, after Murongyu killed an evil person, he would not leave their memory or anything like that. This was a waste of time. Murongyu only left a jade slip with the word, evil person, engraved on it at the scene where the evil person was killed. Even if Murongyu did not extract their memory, later on, with the investigation of others, they finally found that those who were killed were indeed evil people. Later on, when people saw the jade slip of an evil person, they would not investigate it because they all knew that those who were killed were indeed evil people. The reason for that was because the ones killed during this period were all evil people. Even if on the surface they looked like a very good person. Therefore, they believed that the person who secretly killed the evil people would not kill the innocent. Murongyu indeed would not kill the innocent. Half a year had passed. In this half a year, Murong Yu almost did not stop. He had been killing evil people until his hands were tired. If these were not all star-level evil people, Murong Yu would probably not be able to resist killing them. At this time, Murong Yu's star points had reached 3 million. The higher the strength, the higher the star level of the evil person, and the higher the star point. However, in the cultivation world, no one's strength could be considered strong. Even if Murong Yu killed a 100-star evil person, he would not have many star points. Therefore, Murong Yu had killed at least tens of millions of evil people in this half a year. Or even more. Tens of millions of lives. Or even more. If Murong Yu had really killed so many evil people in the immortal world, Murong Yu would have obtained at least tens of millions of star points. But now, he only had a few million star points. What made Murong Yu speechless was that many times when he killed these evil people, he would not even get 1 star point. After discovering this, Murong Yu no longer killed those evil people with lower star levels. In the end, Murong Yu only killed evil people with 20-star level and above. It took him half a year to kill all the evil people with 20-star level and above in the entire Huaxia cultivation world, not leaving a single one behind. In this world, no one could hide from Murong Yu's eyes. One reason why he did not kill evil people with 20-star level and below was that they did not have many star points. Another reason was that Murong Yu knew that after the massacre of evil people in this half a year, he believed that those evil people with lower star levels would not dare to do evil again. This was because before Murong Yu stopped, he had released a message in the cultivation world. The general meaning was to warn those evil people who had not been killed, to let them know that it was not that Murong Yu did not know them, but that he did not want to kill them yet. Once they were found to continue doing evil, they would be killed. As long as they were in the Huaxia cultivation world, they would not be able to escape. The power of this sentence shocked those evil people until their bodies trembled. This was because they believed in Murong Yu's words. This was because the evil people who died during this period, no matter how well they hid and how secretively they hid, were still killed in the end. During this process, no one dared to take the opportunity to cause trouble and imitate Murong Yu to kill evil people. This was because everyone was afraid of Murong Yu. After the bloody killings in this half a year, it should have a deterrent effect on the world. For a long time in the future, the evil people in the Huaxia cultivation world should not increase. After obtaining a large number of star points, Murong Yu was somewhat excited. At the same time, he was happy that the Huaxia cultivation world would be peaceful for a period of time. A world without evil people. Although Murong Yu could not continue to obtain star points, wasn't this the world he wanted? After returning to Shenzhen, Murong Yu directly entered the Hichu Luoshu world. The evil people in Shenzhen? Those with higher star levels had already been killed by Murong Yu. As for those who were not of a high star level, they had already been expelled from the sage sect. Murong Yu's methods against Shenzhen's disciples were very fierce and cruel. All the evil people with more than 10 star levels had been personally killed by him. As for the evil people with 5 to 10 star levels, he directly deprived them of everything they had obtained from Shenzhen, including any magic weapons, resources, and even their cultivation and cultivation methods. Then, he directly expelled them. Therefore, the highest star level of evil people in Shenzhen was only 5 star levels. Moreover, there were very few star-level evil people. At the same time, Murong Yu also warned those star-level evil people that if he found that they had not become good people the next time he returned, they would be expelled from Shenzhen. With Murong Yu's words, if these people did not want their cultivation to be abolished, they would probably work hard to become good people in the future. Now, it should be time to exchange for the soul grass. Murong Yu entered the heavenly punishment order and appeared in front of Steward Tian. Young master, are you sure you want to exchange for the soul grass? That way you will be deducted 1 million star points. There is no turning back. Steward Tian confirmed. Confirm. Schwa. Just as Murong Yu confirmed, a layer of ripples appeared in the void in front of him, following which, a small grass that was only as tall as a palm and had 3 infant-like leaves appeared in front of Murong Yu. It emitted a faint soul aura. This small grass was a miraculous item that could repair souls, soul grass. Chapter 619. In the Hichu Luoshu world, Yu Mengqing was alone in a garden. She looked at the flowers and felt a little lonely. Ever since Murong Yu got the heavenly punishment order, Zhao Jiqing and the others entered the space of the heavenly punishment order to cultivate. It was not a long time, so they did not come out of the space of the heavenly punishment order. Now there was only her, Little Purple, and the big black dog in the Hichu Luoshu world. However, Little Purple seemed to have fallen into some kind of deep sleep. Every time it woke up, it would fall asleep again. As for the big black dog, it had not woken up after eating too much. Therefore, there was only Yu Mengqing in the Hichu Luoshu world, and because of her soul, she could not cultivate. Therefore, she could only be in a daze. Suddenly, the void in front of Yu Mengqing fluctuated slightly. Then, Murong Yu appeared in front of her. Big gangster, you're here? The moment she saw Murong Yu, Yu Mengqing's face lit up. It was too lonely for her to be here alone. Seeing Yu Mengqing's face full of joy, Murong Yu felt a little guilty and distressed. He understood Yu Mengqing's loneliness. However, he did not have the time to accompany her all the time. Now that he had the soul grass, as long as Yu Mengqing's soul was repaired, she could naturally leave here. She could go to the heavenly punishment world to cultivate or even to the immortal world. Murong Yu hugged Yu Mengqing in his arms and said with heartache, Mengqing, it's been hard on you during this period. However, you will be able to end these days soon. Yu Mengqing was startled at first, then she was overjoyed. She quickly asked, Big gangster, you mean you can repair my soul? Murong Yu smiled. At the same time, he opened his palm. The soul grass that was emitting a faint light was lying quietly in his palm. What do you think this is? Murong Yu asked with a smile. Is this the soul grass? Yu Mengqing asked in disbelief. Yes, it is. Mengqing, your soul can be repaired. Murong Yu said happily. Yu Mengqing's face immediately revealed a look of shock. She looked at Murong Yu in shock and said, Big gangster, tell me, is this true? Can my soul really be repaired? Yu Mengqing's heart was very excited. Ever since her soul was injured, she had never been truly happy, because she did not know if her soul could really be repaired. Although Murong Yu had always appeared very confident on the surface, and she also believed in Murong Yu, but after all, it was her soul was damaged. How could it be repaired so easily? What she had been showing all this time was just an act. Yes, this is the legendary soul grass. It can repair souls. No matter how badly damaged a soul is, it can still be repaired. Murong Yu smiled. Is this true? But the soul grass. Big gangster, you must have worked very hard to get it. If you use it on me, it would be a waste. Yu Mengqing said hesitantly. She really wanted to repair her soul. But when the soul grass appeared in front of her, she hesitated. She felt that the soul grass was too precious. It would be a waste to use it on her. In fact, Murong Yu could use the soul grass to exchange for more value. Silly, I got the soul grass for you. How is it a waste to use it on you? Also, the soul grass is precious. But in my heart, it is far less than a billionth of you. So, don't hesitate. Eat the soul grass immediately. Murong Yu said as he handed the soul grass to Yu Mengqing. Yu Mengqing was touched. She did not hesitate and took the soul grass. Then, she ate it directly. Yes, she ate it directly. The soul grass melted in her mouth and turned into a force. It quickly flowed into Yu Mengqing's soul space. Yu Mengqing did not hesitate. She sat down cross-legged and began to repair her soul. Murong Yu did not leave. Instead, he used his divine consciousness to enter Yu Mengqing's body. He watched Yu Mengqing repair her soul. After the force of the soul grass entered Yu Mengqing's soul, it directly acted on her soul. Under Yu Mengqing's guidance, the force began to repair Yu Mengqing's soul. Murong Yu even saw the cracks in Yu Mengqing's soul. Under the effect of the soul grass, they began to heal slowly. The effect is not bad. Murong Yu withdrew his divine consciousness from Yu Mengqing's body. There was no danger in using the soul grass to repair one's soul. As long as there was enough time, even if Yu Mengqing did not actively guide it, her soul would be repaired by the force of the soul grass. It was certain that Yu Mengqing's soul had been repaired. Murong Yu looked at Zhao Jiqing and the others in the heavenly punishment world. They were still fighting with the experts in the heavenly punishment world. Their strength was constantly increasing and the results were not bad. Should I go to the fiery wind cultivation world to kill evil people and obtain stars first, or should I do something else? After settling Yu Mengqing's matter, Murong Yu relaxed. After relaxing, Murong Yu suddenly felt that he had nothing to do. He originally had 3 million stars. After exchanging for the soul grass, he was left with 2 million stars. Murong Yu did not need to exchange for anything for the time being. Therefore, these stars were enough for him. He was not in a hurry to earn stars. The South Mountains cannot be solved for the time being. The Heavenly Court's development is on the right track. As for the Heavenly Punishment Palace, Murong Yu frowned slightly. Murong Yu did not have time to hand in the mission regarding the mysterious disappearance of the Heavenly Punishment Palace's Palace Master. This was because he did not know where the Palace Master was. Perhaps he had already died in the Immortal Land. Moreover, there was actually an elder in the Heavenly Punishment Palace who was coveting the Heavenly Court. This made Murong Yu somewhat unhappy. Let's increase my strength first. When the time comes, I want to see if that elder dares to interfere with the Heavenly Court's matters. I will directly exterminate him. Murong Yu's eyes flashed with a bright light. Thinking about increasing his strength, Murong Yu could not help but feel somewhat depressed. Ever since the previous breakthrough, the chaotic heavenly body record did not show any signs of a breakthrough. This not only made Murong Yu feel very depressed. However, Murong Yu was like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. He did not think about how long it would take for others to cultivate to his level. Billions of years? Tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of years. What about him? His speed was so fast that it made one's hair stand on end. The time he had cultivated was only less than 20,000 years. With such a speed, he still felt that it was slow? If those immortal supremes knew what Murong Yu was thinking, they would most likely not be able to resist the urge to slap him to death. Murong Yu cultivated for about a month, but there was still no sign of a breakthrough in the chaotic heavenly body record. Finally, Murong Yu had no choice but to stop cultivating. The way to increase one's strength is not just to break through the realm. There are other ways. For example, possessing other powers. Young Master, Black Lotus's space law is very good. If you can learn it, your strength will definitely increase dramatically. At this moment, Steward Tian's voice sounded in Murong Yu's ears. Young Master, Steward Tian's words are right. If you can really control the space law, even if you still have not broken through the realm, your self-defense ability and lethality will skyrocket by many times. Hichu's voice also appeared in Murong Yu's mind. Space law. Murong Yu's eyes suddenly emitted a bright divine light. Murong Yu had seen how powerful Black Lotus's space law was. It could even be said that Murong Yu had been spying on the space law for a long time. It could not be helped. It was impossible for Murong Yu not to be tempted by the space law. He even had a guess that the reason why Little Z was so powerful should be related to the space law. Black Lotus would not use the power of the space law to kill, but he could use the power of the space law to defend. Moreover, Murong Yu believed that Black Lotus would not use the space law to attack, but it did not mean that the power of the space law could not be used. Perhaps Black Lotus did not know how to use it, or he did not use it to attack. The space law had an extremely terrifying defensive function, and the control of space was also very abnormal. It was the best cultivation method for escaping and tracking. Murong-yu guessed that the attacking means of the space law must be very terrifying. I don't know if Black Lotus will teach me the space law, or if I can cultivate it? Murong-yu muttered in his heart and began to transmit his voice to Black Lotus. After a while, Black Lotus's faint fluctuation came. Black Lotus, I want to ask, can others learn the space law of yours? Can I learn it? Murong-yu got straight to the point. Yes. Black Lotus's faint psychic fluctuation came, and Murong-yu suddenly became excited. However, Black Lotus's next sentence made Murong-yu depressed. The general meaning was that Black Lotus could teach Murong-yu the cultivation method of the space law, but whether Murong-yu could cultivate it depended on his character. Black Lotus, my character is not bad. Can you teach me that kung fu? Let me try and see if I can cultivate it? After Murong-yu said this, Black Lotus did not respond for a long time. Just when Murong-yu thought that Black Lotus had changed his mind, Black Lotus's faint psychic fluctuation came over. At the same time, some memories and information directly appeared in Murong-yu's mind. Black Lotus, thank you. Murong-yu thanked Black Lotus, and then began to read the memories that Black Lotus had passed over. But soon, a look of horror appeared on his face. The space law, so that's it, why didn't I think of it? Murong-yu suddenly laughed. The space law, it turns out to be one of the Buddhist incantation of 9 words. The Zai formula of the Buddhist incantation of 9 words. Murong-yu laughed in his heart. Chapter 620. Between heaven and earth, there were 9 very magical words. These 9 words formed 9 cultivation techniques. Even if one could obtain one of the 9 words and cultivate it to a high level, it was enough to dominate the world. Lin Bing Do Zhe Jie Zhen Lai Zai Qian. These 9 words were known as the 9 syllables mantra. It was one of the most supreme cultivation techniques in the world. When Murong-yu was in the Huaxia cultivation world, he was lucky enough to obtain the Bing formula of the 9 syllables mantra in the depths of the Demon Mountain. The Bing formula focused on speed. The so-called fast as a dart referred to the Bing formula. After obtaining the Bing formula, Murong-yu's speed became extremely terrifying. Even experts who were several realms higher than him could not catch up to him in terms of speed. In fact, when Murong-yu arrived in the celestial realm, the soldier character formula had evolved into the welcoming light shadow. Its speed had increased by 100 times or even more. The phantom light wings allowed Murong-yu to have the speed of an immortal king realm expert when he was in the mystic immortal realm. One could only imagine how terrifying the Bing formula was. After that, in the extreme celestial realm, Murong-yu obtained the Do formula after killing the extreme celestial realm expert. The Bing formula focused on speed, while the Do formula focused on strength. It increased strength. As long as he used the Do formula, he could increase his strength beyond his original peak strength. For example, under normal circumstances, Murong-yu could only exert the combat strength of 7,500 coiled dragon strength. However, if he used the Do formula, his strength could be increased beyond 7,500 combat strength. As Murong-yu's understanding of the Do formula deepened, his combat strength could be increased even more. Now, Murong-yu obtained the Zai formula of the 9 syllables mantra. The Zai formula was the main space and space rules. Murong-yu did not know how Black Lotus obtained the Zai formula because Black Lotus did not tell him. However, this was not what Murong-yu cared about. He was now in a state of excitement. In addition to the Zai formula, he had obtained 3 words of the 9 syllables mantra, which was 1/3 of the total. This was something that had never happened before in history. The soldier formula made Murong-yu's speed unparalleled in the world. The battle character art allowed Murong-yu to unleash a power that exceeded his peak. In the word formula, It would allow Murong Yu to comprehend the laws of space and the power of space. Although the Zai character formula didn't have any powerful killing moves or ultimate moves, if Murong Yu could comprehend the Zai character formula, his killing power would be at least 10 times more terrifying than it was now. I've already cultivated 2 characters of the Nine Suns mantra. Since I can cultivate the soldier and do formula, I should be able to cultivate the character formula as well. Murong Yu thought to himself as he tried to calm himself down. However, even with Murong Yu's self-control, it took him a long time to calm down from the excitement of obtaining the 9 words mantra. Then, Murong Yu began to comprehend the Zai formula. Just like the Bing and Do character formulas, there were only a few lines in the character formulas. However, the amount of information it contained was extremely terrifying and difficult to understand. Even with Murong Yu's experience in cultivating the soldier and Do formulas, it still took him 3 years to comprehend the basic meaning of the few words in the soldier and Do formulas. However, this was only a preliminary understanding. It was extremely difficult for Murong Yu to cultivate it. After comprehending the mystery of the character formula, Murong Yu didn't immediately cultivate it. Instead, he went to see Yu Mengqing. At this time, Yu Mengqing was still cultivating. 3 years had passed, and her shattered soul had been almost completely healed by the power of the soul grass. She believed that it wouldn't take long for her soul to fully recover. As for Zhao Jiqing and the others, they were still cultivating in the heavenly punishment world. Then, Murong Yu returned to the immortal world, Chaos Shenzhen, the celestial palace, and the heavenly court. After arranging things, he entered the Hichu Luoshu world and began to cultivate. Time passed little by little. Year after year passed. Yu Mengqing's soul had been completely restored by the soul grass. However, because Murong Yu was cultivating in seclusion, she couldn't leave the Hichu Luoshu world. 5 years, 10 years. Murong Yu had been comprehending and cultivating the character formula for 10 years. In these 10 years, Murong Yu had been sitting in a cross-legged position without moving. He didn't even open his eyes. On this day, Murong Yu's eyes, which had been closed for 10 years, finally opened. He first heaved a sigh of relief. Then, a helpless expression appeared on his face. The law of space is really difficult to cultivate. In 10 years, Murong Yu had theoretically grasped the mysteries of the character formula. However, he still couldn't get started. However, Murong Yu wasn't in a hurry. The 2 laws of space and time were 2 of the most powerful laws. Similarly, they were extremely difficult to cultivate. It wasn't like other character formulas like the fighting formula and the army formula. Although the army formula and the battle formula were supreme, it wasn't difficult for Murong Yu to cultivate them with his aptitude and comprehension. However, in terms of the character formula and the law of space, it was at least 100 times more difficult than cultivating the army formula and the battle formula. Moreover, most importantly, Murong Yu knew nothing about the law of space. Moreover, he had no one to guide him. He had to rely on himself to explore everything. As for Black Lotus, he didn't know how to guide him at all. After all, Black Lotus wasn't a cultivator. His spiritual sense was still very weak. Black Lotus cast another space shield. Murong Yu said to Black Lotus in his heart helplessly. Before Murong Yu could finish his words, a layer of ripples appeared in the space around him, and he disappeared. The space around Murong Yu didn't seem to have any abnormalities either. It was as if nothing had happened. However, Murong Yu didn't think so. Just because he couldn't see it didn't mean it didn't exist. He knew that a spatial barrier had enveloped his entire body. If there was any force that attacked Murong Yu, it would be blocked by the shield. And the spatial barrier that was attacked would also ripple, just like in the immortal land. Space, what is space? Space is everything except for the tangible matter. This world is a huge space. Even if it's a material like a person, there is space in their body. For example, the soul space and the dantian space. Wherever there is a gap, it's called space. Space is everywhere. Everything is in the space. Murong Yu muttered to himself and talked about his understanding of space. In space, all matter should be restricted by space. This restriction is called the power of space and the law of space. Any existence that doesn't follow the law of space can't survive. Just like in the mortal world, the mountains on the ground couldn't exceed a certain height. Even the highest mountain couldn't be compared with the mountains in the immortal world. This was the law of space of the mortal world. If one could control the law of space, they could change the way these existences and matter existed. They could use the power of space to create or destroy. If one wants to control the power of space, then one must integrate with space and become a part of it. Thinking of this, Murong Yu's eyes suddenly burst out with a bright divine light. He seemed to have understood something, but when he wanted to grasp it, he couldn't. Murong Yu closed his eyes again and stretched out his hands to resist the invisible space shield that Black Lotus applied to his body. Space was clearly formless, but the space shield was a tangible existence. Invisible, tangible. Not existing, but real. If he wanted to merge with space, he'd have to transform himself from corporeal to formless. If he wanted to use the power of space, he'd have to transform himself from formless to corporeal. Murong Yu kept repeating this sentence in his heart. Gradually, a trace of comprehension appeared in his mind. Murong Yu also took the opportunity to quickly grasp this trace of understanding and began to understand it more thoroughly. At this time, if someone was next to Murong Yu, they would see that Murong Yu's body was gradually becoming transparent. This didn't mean that Murong Yu had really become transparent. Instead, some parts of Murong Yu's body were gradually integrating with space, gradually becoming one with it. Time continued to pass, and Murong Yu's body became more and more transparent. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, Murong Yu's whole body completely disappeared. However, if someone could see Murong Yu, they would find that he was still sitting cross-legged on the ground, and even his posture hadn't changed. Was Murong Yu completely transparent? Or was he invisible? In fact, Murong Yu's body was still the same as before. There was no change, and he wasn't invisible. The reason why he disappeared was because he had integrated with space. It was like a person gradually walking from the light into the darkness. After being completely submerged by the endless darkness, that person naturally seemed to have disappeared. But in fact, that person still existed in space. The principle was the same. At this moment, Murong Yu finally grasped his own trace of understanding and officially understood the space law. Of course, it was just a little bit, and it was still very simple and crude. So that's how it is, that's how it is. Haha. Murong Yu suddenly laughed out loud. Along with his loud laughter, his figure appeared once again. Murong Yu laughed a few times and slowly raised his right hand. Then, he used the understanding he had just gained on his right hand. Therefore, Murong Yu's right hand began to slowly disappear under his gaze. But he felt that his hand didn't change at all. It still existed. This is the space law, the power of space. Ha! Murong Yu laughed again because he finally understood the space law. Although it was just a little bit and he hadn't even reached the beginner level. Chapter 6:21. Murong Yu did not slack off after mastering the spatial rules of order. Instead, he continued to cultivate. As his understanding of the spatial rules of order deepened, he became more and more shocked. Spatial shield. Murong Yu shouted in his heart and waved his hand. Instantly, an invisible spatial shield covered his entire body. Although it could not be seen with the naked eye, it really existed. The so-called spatial shield works on the same principle as other shields. Murong Yu waved his hand and used the chaotic energy to create a shield on the surface of his body. Because it was the chaotic energy, the shield was black and could be seen at a glance. The same principle, but the power they use is different. Therefore, the effect is different. Murong Yu muttered in his heart and continued, The chaotic energy is a shield formed by other powers. When it is attacked, it can only passively defend and take the attack. Once it reaches its limit, the barrier will shatter. However, the spatial shield is different. Using the power of space, once it is attacked, it can use the power of space to transfer the power of the attack away or even into the spatial turbulence. Murong Yu's eyes lit up. When he was in the Immortal Land, Murong Yu had thought of this possibility. Now that he had cultivated the spatial rules of order, he finally confirmed that his guess was correct. In this world, there were actually 2 layers of space. The first layer was a very calm space, just like the world that Murong Yu and the rest lived in. Outside this layer of space, there was another space that was filled with violent power. That was the spatial turbulence. There was only a thin layer of spatial barrier between the spatial turbulence and the other spaces. Once this barrier was broken, one could enter the spatial turbulence. Back then, the spatial shield that Black Lotus created was very powerful. It directly transferred all the attacks that it encountered into the spatial turbulence. However, not everyone could do that. With Murong Yu's current ability, he could not transfer the attacks that the spatial shield suffered into the spatial turbulence. However, he could transfer to a nearby space. The spatial shield can strengthen my life-saving ability by many times. But how can I use the power of space to attack? Murong Yu frowned and pondered. Actually, the power of space and the power that I cultivate are basically the same. If I can control the power of space skillfully, I can use my own power to attack. Murong Yu pondered and continued to cultivate. Time flowed like water, and in the blink of an eye, another 10 years had passed. On this day, Murong Yu suddenly opened his eyes. At the same time, a smile appeared on his face. The power of space, I can use it, attack. Murong Yu, at the same time, he pointed at a mountain peak in front of him. When Murong Yu pointed his finger, a layer of ripples suddenly appeared in the space near the mountain. Following that, an earth-shattering explosion erupted from the mountain peak. Then, the entire peak mountain was the power of space. Under Murong Yu's control, the invisible power of space was used by him to attack directly. At this point, Murong Yu had finally cultivated the rules of space and the Zai word essence. Of course, if he wanted to be more powerful, he still needed time to refine it. Success! Murong Yu laughed. With a flash of his body, he disappeared from where he stood. Big gangster, look at how happy you are. Did you pick up a treasure again? Yu Mengqing rolled her eyes at Murong Yu when he appeared beside her. I'm happier than picking up a treasure. Mengqing, your soul should be fine, right? As he spoke, Murong Yu's divine thought had already entered Yu Mengqing's body. Yu Mengqing did not resist and allowed Murong Yu's divine thought to enter her soul space. It's as good as new without any damage. It's even stronger than before. The soul grass is indeed powerful. When he saw that not only was Yu Mengqing's soul not damaged, but it was even stronger, Murong Yu could not help but feel happy. Big gangster, thank you. Yu Mengqing kissed Murong Yu and smiled sweetly. You really want to thank me? This is not enough. Murong Yu patted Yu Mengqing's perky butt and chuckled. Then, he picked up Yu Mengqing and disappeared. Not long after, there was a burst of unsuitable sounds for children. After the two of them fought for a few hours, Yu Mengqing snuggled in Murong Yu's arms and drew circles on Murong Yu's chest with her small hand. At the same time, she said faintly, Big gangster, my strength is still too weak. I want to cultivate. Can I go to another space to cultivate? Yu Mengqing's strength was not high. She was only a golden immortal, and she did not have a monstrous physique like Murong Yu, who could kill people above his level. Moreover, all these years, she had not been able to cultivate because of her broken soul. The gap between her strength and that of Murong Yu and the rest was getting bigger and bigger. This made her a little depressed. Okay, no problem. I'll send you there in a moment. Murong Yu chuckled and covered Yu Mengqing's chest with his big hand again. But before that, shouldn't you satisfy your husband? As he spoke, Morong Yu turned over and pressed Yu Mengqing under his body. Big gangster, this time I'm on top. Yu Mengqing's face flushed red. Then, while Morong Yu was still in shock, she had already turned over and pressed Morong Yu on top of her body. After sending Yu Mengqing to Tian Fa World, Morong Yu left Tian Fa World. As for Zhao Jiqing and the rest, they had been cultivating inside and were unwilling to come out. However, when they all knew that Yu Mengqing's soul had been completely restored, they were all very happy. After gathering for a few days, they separated again. This damned big black dog, why hasn't he woken up yet? Morong Yu came to the big black dog's side and rolled his eyes. It had been a few decades since this fellow ate until he was full. If it were not for the fact that the big black dog's aura was getting stronger and stronger, Morong Yu would even suspect that this fellow had been sealed by someone. As Morong Yu spoke, the big black dog, who had been in a deep sleep, suddenly opened his eyes. Woof, woof, woof. Who's cursing, Lord Heavenly Dog? Don't you want to live any more? Then, the big black dog saw Morong Yu standing in front of him and staring at him. Woof. When the big black dog saw Morong Yu, not only did he not shut up, he even barked wildly and charged towards Morong Yu. Along the way, he slapped out with his dog paw, shattering the void and directly attacking Morong Yu. Morong Yu chuckled. Big black dog, although you've reached the late stage of the 9 heavens mystic immortal realm, you want to fight me? Are you looking for a beating? Recently, I've made some progress in my cultivation. Today I'll use you to practice. As he spoke, Morong Yu had already formed a spatial barrier around his body. Although I'm only at the late stage of the 9 heavens mystic immortal realm, I dare to fight even celestial kings, the big black dog said. Although Morong Yu did not move, his attack did not stop. On the contrary, he attacked even more fiercely towards Morong Yu. This was because he knew how freakish Morong Yu's strength was. Pung! The big black dog's attack was very fierce. When he slapped out with his paw, even the void was shattered. However, when his paw was not far from Morong Yu's body, he felt that he had slapped an extremely hard object. Layers of ripples immediately appeared on the spatial barrier when it was attacked. At the same time, Morong Yu began to circulate the power of space and began to redirect the attack. Chi streams of power were constantly being redirected by Morong Yu. Suddenly, with Morong Yu as the center, the space around him began to shatter. This was the power of the big black dog's attack. After being redirected by Morong Yu, it directly shattered the space around him. However, Morong Yu, who was at the center of it, was completely unharmed. What kind of cultivation technique is this? The big black dog was shocked. Then, he shouted loudly and pounced forward again. Boom, boom, boom. Like a violent storm, attacks poured down crazily, continuously bombarding the spatial barrier. Layers of ripples appeared on the spatial barrier, like ripples on the surface of water. And under Morong Yu's control, the power of the big black dog's attacks was completely redirected. The space around Morong Yu was continuously shattered by the terrifying power, but Morong Yu was still unmoved. Damn it, I'm not fighting anymore. The big black dog attacked for a long time, and the more he attacked, the more depressed he became. In the end, he even said in a muffled voice, and directly stopped attacking. Not bad, but I don't know what the limit of my attacks is. Celestial Duke? After being attacked by the big black dog's frenzied attacks, Morong Yu also realized how powerful his spatial barrier was. However, he also didn't know what the limit of his spatial barrier was. However, he was confident that Celestial King tier elites wouldn't be able to break through his spatial barrier. Old Black, did you have fun fighting just now? Don't just hit me, it's my turn. Morong Yu looked at the big black dog and chuckled. The big black dog rolled his eyes. How was he having fun? He was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood and die. However, before he could say anything, he instinctively felt a strong sense of danger descend from the sky. The big black dog was shocked, and his figure swayed, and he directly retreated explosively. At the same time that he retreated, the ground where he had just been was instantly pulverized by a formless power. It was formless and intangible, and he couldn't even feel the fluctuations of power. However, the power that it contained was extremely terrifying, and it was enough to injure the big black dog. Moreover, this was because Murong-yu wasn't trying to kill him. A hint of shock flashed through the big black dog's eyes as he looked at Murong-yu. What kind of cultivation technique was this? Chapter 6:22. While the large black dog was shocked, Murong-yu smiled faintly. He roared, "OL Black, eat my fist!" A hint of confusion flashed across the large black dog's eyes. This was because he hadn't seen Murong-yu move at all. Murong-yu also hadn't released any energy fluctuations from his body. He hadn't moved, nor had he released any energy fluctuations, so how had he attacked? Could it be that he was just bluffing? However, just as the large black dog was feeling confused, an extremely dangerous aura suddenly came crashing down from above his head. The large black dog was shocked. His body swayed, and he immediately retreated explosively. However, he wasn't as lucky as he had been before this time. Just as the large black dog was retreating, an invisible fist condensed from the power of space had already come crashing down from above his head. Boom! At this moment, the large black dog suddenly felt as if a divine mountain had fallen from the sky and smashed into his body. The terrifying power instantly smashed the large black dog to the ground. This wasn't the end of it. Powerful energy continued to erupt, and it actually smashed the large black dog deep into the ground. Fortunately, Murong-yu wasn't trying to kill the large black dog, so he hadn't used too much power. However, even so, the large black dog was still smashed into the ground and almost fainted. He was blasted several thousand kilometers deep into the ground. Woof! 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 The large black dog laughed maniacally. Power erupted from his body, shattering the ground as he soared into the sky. Then, he also unleashed his maximum power. He transformed into a black streak of light and pounced toward Murong-yu. Spatial barrier. Murong-yu smiled faintly and pointed a finger. Pung! A transparent wall appeared out of thin air between the large black dog and Murong-yu, blocking the large black dog's path. The large black dog wasn't able to stop in time, and his entire body instantly crashed heavily into the spatial barrier. The powerful force caused layers of ripples to appear on the spatial barrier. In fact, an extremely strong rebounding force even sent the large black dog flying. What's going on? The large black dog was dizzy from the collision, and he didn't know what was going on. Spatial shackle, Murong-yu shouted. Instantly, layers of ripples appeared in the space around the large black dog. Then, the large black dog discovered in shock that it seemed as if he had been frozen. His entire body had been sealed and he couldn't move. However, he saw that there was nothing around him. There were only layers of ripples in the space around him. There were no energy fluctuations. This time, the large black dog was completely dumbfounded. Woof! What's going on? The large black dog looked at Murong-yu as confused. It's just spatial energy. Murong-yu faintly smiled. At the same time, he released his shackle. Although he was a powerful immortal's power, if he unleashed his full power, of course immortal's T, even so, Murong-yu was still able to easily imprison him. Of course, if Murong-yu wanted to kill the large black dog, Murong-yu could also easily kill him. In other words, with Murong-yu's current power of space, there was no doubt that he could kill a Celestial King tier elite. However, would he be able to fight a Celestial Duke? A sliver of anticipation appeared in Murong-yu's heart. In fact, he was even more eager to battle a Celestial Duke. Should I go to the Heavenly Punishment Realm and battle a Celestial Duke? This thought flashed through Murong-yu's mind. In the Heavenly Punishment Realm, Murong Yu had an undying body. Only in this way could Murong Yu fight more fearlessly. In this way, he would be able to unleash more of his power. However, Murong Yu thought for a moment and suppressed this thought. Now wasn't a good time. After all, he had already been in seclusion for several decades, and the three forces under him most likely had many matters to deal with. The rules of space? Hearing Murong Yu's words, the large black dog's eyes flashed with a touch of horror. He also knew about the rules of space, but he didn't expect Murong Yu to be able to control the power of space. This was really shocking. I've only scratched the surface. Well, Old Black, you've been in seclusion for several decades. If there's nothing else, come out with me. While speaking, Murong Yu and the large black dog's figures flashed and disappeared. When Murong Yu reappeared, he was already in the heavenly court. The moment he appeared, Murong Yu's huge divine sense spread out. With this, Murong Yu's face revealed a touch of surprise. Feng City was bigger than before he went into seclusion. It had expanded a lot, and there were more and more experts in Feng City. Most of these people came because of the fame. Presumably, there should be many experts who joined the heavenly court. As soon as Murong Yu appeared, Ming Ji's divine sense swept over. Seeing that it was Murong Yu, he withdrew his divine sense after greeting him. As for the only celestial emperor in the heavenly court, Xiahou Zhua, he was in seclusion, refining the emperor weapon. Woof! Master, is this the force you founded? For several decades, the large black dog had been in a deep slumber and knew nothing about the heavenly court. Murong Yu nodded. Then, the large black dog showed an excited expression. Can I be an official? Like a guardian or an elder? Murong Yu rolled his eyes. With the large black dog's character, if he really became a guardian or an elder, he would definitely make the heavenly court a mess. Old Black, you'd better do your duty and guard the door for me, Murong Yu said with a smile. Woof! I'll bite you to death. The large black dog was instantly furious. With a loud roar, he pounced at Murong Yu, wanting to viciously bite him a few times. However, to his dismay, Murong Yu pointed a finger at him, and he was imprisoned again. Although he was powerful and had the ability to devour heaven and earth, in front of Murong Yu, he was a hero who had no place to display his abilities. Fine, I'll guard the door. After Murong Yu released him, the large black dog shook his head and turned into a flash of black light, rushing over. However, Murong Yu didn't believe that he would really guard the door. This guy was probably going to cause trouble. However, in Murong Yu's territory, even if the sky collapsed, he would hold it up. No matter what the large black dog did, it didn't matter. After the large black dog left, Murong Yu summoned Black Tiger and the others. These 7 guys were all elders of the heavenly court, although their strength was relatively low, and they were only in the celestial king tier. Greetings, my lord. The 7 of them entered the palace, and bowed respectfully to Murong Yu. Now, they were completely in awe of Murong Yu. The reason was none other than the rapid development of the heavenly court. According to their previous forces, even if they were 10,000 times stronger, they still couldn't compare to the current heavenly court. Moreover, all of this had only happened a few decades ago. Even if they didn't admire Murong Yu, they had to. Murong Yu nodded and said, How has the heavenly court been developing recently? I see that Feng City has become much bigger, and there are many more elite. My lord, in these few decades, our heavenly court has continued to recruit a large number of disciples. There are now 1,000 celestial king tier cultivators. There are also more than 100 celestial lords. As for celestial emperor tier cultivators, there aren't many. There are only 3 more people. Miao Yi stepped forward with a smile on his face, but he was also extremely respectful. A strange look flashed in Murong Yu's eyes. The heavenly court's development had exceeded his imagination. Before he went into seclusion, the heavenly court only had 300 celestial kings, 20 celestial lords, and only one celestial emperor, Xiahou Zhuo. Now, the number of celestial king-tier cultivators had doubled, and there were 700 more. The number of celestial lords had also doubled, and there were 70 more. What surprised Murong Yu the most was that there were 3 more celestial emperors who had joined the heavenly court. Including Xiahou Zhuo, there were now 4 celestial emperors in the heavenly court. Such strength was enough to become a first-rate force in the celestial world. In addition, the elites in Feng City have a good impression of our heavenly court. These people are on good terms with our heavenly court. If there aren't any accidents, they won't leave Feng City in the future. In other words, although these people didn't join the heavenly court and become a part of it, they had already begun to see Feng City as their home. Once they saw Feng City as their home and felt a sense of belonging, how could they stand by and do nothing if Feng City was attacked? There wasn't much difference between this and joining the heavenly court. However, my lord, although our heavenly court has grown stronger, we have also encountered a problem. It is the problem of insufficient resources. After all, our heavenly court is not as strong as those large forces with deep foundations. They have various industries and large amounts of income to support the operation of their forces. Our heavenly court doesn't have such a foundation, and everything is built from scratch. Therefore, there is a shortage of all kinds of resources. If this continues, I am worried. Feng Shen took a step forward and said in a deep voice. At the same time, a look of worry flashed across the faces of the other 6. Murong Yu smiled faintly and said, "You guys just focus on developing the heavenly court. Just leave the matter of resources to me." This problem wasn't a problem for Murong Yu at all. Because he didn't have much, but he had a lot of resources. One must know that he had the entire Tian Fa world as his backing. The resources of a world were Murong Yu's. If it couldn't be supplied to the heavenly court, then it was impossible. However, the heavenly court is now on the right track. Slow down the speed of recruitment. In the future, the conditions will be even stricter. Murong Yu said in a deep voice. He didn't want bad people to appear everywhere in the heavenly court. When the time came, he would have to clean up. After the 7 of them discussed some matters of the heavenly court, Murong Yu let them leave. The rapid development of the heavenly court must have attracted the attention of some people. However, if anyone dares to have any ideas about the heavenly court, he will definitely regret it. Murong Yu said with a sneer in his heart. My lord, I forgot to report something just now. 20 years ago, 2 seriously injured young men came to Feng City, saying that they were friends of the Lord. However, we were unable to determine their identity, but we also did not expel them. What are their names? Murong Yu frowned. He didn't have many friends. Yes, there were more enemies. It seems to be called Li Su. Chapter 6:23. Li Su? Heavily injured? Murong Yu frowned when he heard Black Tiger's words. If the other party was really Li Su, then he should be his friend. Among the people he knew, only the head disciple of the Hidden Fairy Valley was called Li Su. Their relationship was also very good. Li Su was one of Murong Yu's few friends. Take me to see him. Murong Yu's face darkened. According to Black Tiger, Li Su was heavily injured and came to seek refuge with him. 20 years had already passed, and he wondered how their injuries were doing. If something happened because they couldn't find Murong Yu would feel guilty. At the same time, Murong Yu's heart burst with killing intent. Who was it that injured Li Su? Murong Yu knew Li Su's personality. He was the kind of person who would never seek refuge with Murong Yu unless he had nowhere else to go. Although Li Su was easygoing, he was arrogant by nature. Feng City, in one of the dilapidated courtyards. At this time, 2 youths were looking at each other with bitter expressions. Li Su, it's been 20 years. We've used up all our resources. Is the master of the heavenly court Murong Yu? Is that the Murong Yu we know? A tall and sturdy young man asked a more ordinary-looking young man in a deep voice. Little Ape King, calm down. We don't know if this Murong Yu of the Heavenly Court is our friend or not. However, other than waiting here, what else can we do? With our strength? We can only die. Li Su frowned. He coughed a few times as he spoke. His face was frighteningly pale. It was as if he had yet to recover from his injuries. Calm down? I don't think the people of the Heavenly Court notified us at all. Otherwise, shouldn't you give us an answer instead of making us wait here? The Little Ape King said irritably, his face full of anger. Unfortunately, our words carry little weight. We don't even have the qualifications to join the Heavenly Court. What's more, we're heavily injured. Li Su sighed helplessly. 20 years ago, the two of them finally arrived at the Heavenly Court after going through many hardships. However, he was told that Murong Yu was not in the Heavenly Court. Instead, he was in seclusion. The other party told them that they could stay in Feng City for the time being if there was something important. They would be informed when Murong Yu came out of his closed-door training. Therefore, they decided to stay in Feng City and waited for 20 years. They were not like Murong Yu, who was doing so well. In the immortal world, they had no relatives or friends. Wherever they went, they had to fight for themselves. Even when they left Shenzhen, Murong Yu had given them a lot of resources. However, over the years, they had already exhausted these resources. In fact, their current predicament was that they no longer had immortal meridians or immortal spirit pills. Without pills and immortal meridians to replenish their energy, it would be even harder for them to heal their internal injuries. In fact, as time went on, their injuries would only worsen. The consequences would be unpredictable. If this goes on, we'll definitely die. Little Ape King was still a little irritable. Calm down, there's no point in us being anxious. Apart from Murong Yu, who else has the ability to save Little Lion King and the others? Li Su frowned. Why don't we go back to Shenzhen again? Little Ape King said uncertainly. Li Su shook his head and rejected Little Ape King's suggestion. Murong Yu rarely spends time in Shenzhen. Moreover, as long as Murong Yu is in Shenzhen, he'll come find us when he hears about us. Li Su was also helpless. Before coming to the Heavenly Court, they had gone to Shenzhen in the South Mountain Range. However, they were told that Murong Yu was often not there. As for whether Murong Yu in the Heavenly Court was the Holy Lord of Shenzhen, Duanmu Qing and the others did not know. Therefore, they could only try their luck and come to the Heavenly Court. It's been 20 years, I wonder how Little Lion King and the others are doing. Little Ape King paced around the house in irritation, extremely irritable. What happened? A low and deep voice suddenly sounded. While Li Su and Little Ape King were stunned, a black-clothed youth appeared in front of them. Murong Yu. When they saw who it was, Li Su and Little Ape King could not help but exclaim. Then, their faces were filled with excitement. You finally appeared. If you didn't appear, we'd all be dead. Little Ape King looked at Murong Yu and said excitedly. The person who had come was Murong Yu. However, Murong Yu did not appear happy to see an old friend. Instead, his expression was gloomy. This was because he saw that Little Ape King and Li Su's situation was not very good. Not to mention that the environment they lived in was not very good, just the injuries on their bodies made Murong Yu frown. The injuries on their bodies were very serious. Their meridians were broken, the flow of energy was blocked, and the energy in their bodies was in a mess. Their bodies could be said to be riddled with holes. Moreover, the situation was constantly worsening. What happened? Why are you injured like this? What happened to Little Lion King and the others? Murong Yu said with a gloomy face. Little Lion King and the others were Murong Yu's friends. He would definitely not allow anything to happen to them. Something happened to Little Lion King and Golden Lion King. In fact, the two of us only managed to escape with our lives. Li Su said with an ugly expression. Tell me, who is the other party? Murong Yu's killing intent surged, and endless killing intent surged out. Murong Yu, tell me first, Are you the master of the heavenly court? Little Ape King was about to say something when he was stopped by Li Su's voice transmission. Li Su looked at Morong Yu and asked. Although Morong Yu was much stronger than them, if Morong Yu was not the master of the heavenly court, there was no need for him to tell Morong Yu about Little Lion King. Because, even if he told Morong Yu, it would be useless. And with Morong Yu's personality, he would definitely save Little Lion King and the others. The other party was very strong. If Morong Yu did not have the strength, he would only be sending himself to death. They were not willing to put more friends in danger in order to save a friend. Of course, if Morong Yu was the master of the heavenly court, then it would be a different story. I am the master of the heavenly court. Even if the other party is the immortal palace, I am not afraid. Li Su, hurry up and tell me what's going on. Morong Yu felt that something was amiss. More than 20 years ago, the few of us went together to train in the immortal world and went to Bamboo Province. When we were in Bamboo City, we met the Golden Lion King who had ascended before us. Little Ape King's face revealed an angry expression when he said this. Originally, we should be very happy to see an acquaintance, moreover, it was our senior. But we were not happy at all. That was because the Golden Lion King had actually been captured and raised like a pet. Those bastards kept the old Lion King as a lowly animal and treated him as a pet, a lowly mount. We were angry at that time and immediately negotiated with them to let go of the old Lion King. At this time, Li Su also gritted his teeth and said, but the other party was very disdainful and even wanted Little Ape King and Little Lion King to become their pets and mounts. This was an insult to us. Of course, we could not agree. Although we knew that we were not their match, we still could not control the anger and killing intent in our hearts and directly fought with them. Little Ape King gritted his teeth and said. At this time, Li Su said, but we were not their match. Little Lion King was captured by them, while Little Ape King and I risked our lives to escape. Even so, we were seriously injured. Morong Yu's eyes shot out a cold light. Bamboo Province, Bamboo City, what kind of family are they? Daring to treat my friends like this, I want them to completely disappear from the immortal world. Morong Yu said with killing intent. Endless killing intent spread out. Even though it was just a few words from Li Su and Little Ape King, Morong Yu had a rough idea of who the other party was. They were definitely not good people. At the very least, the person who kept the old Lion King in captivity was not a good person. This kind of person deserved to be killed. They seem to be from a family called He family. They are very powerful in Bamboo City. They seem to be a first-rate power or something. Li Su said with a gloomy expression. This kind of power was an existence they looked up to. If they did not know that Morong Yu had an immortal emperor in the heavenly court, they would not have come to Morong Yu for help. After all, no matter how strong Morong Yu was, he was not a match for a first-rate family. He family is it? Let's go and destroy them. Morong Yu was filled with killing intent and turned to leave. Ai, Morong Yu. He family has many experts. Why don't you bring the heavenly court's experts over? Also, I heard that your medical skills are amazing and you are the famous divine Dr. Sacred Hands. Look at our injuries. When the time comes, we still have to kill a few He family trash. Little Ape King said to Morong Yu in a deep voice. Morong Yu was a bit embarrassed. Just now, he was only concerned about saving Little Lion King and forgot that these two fellows were seriously injured. Your injuries are a small matter. With a divine doctor like me here, you can completely recover in half a day. However, let's go to the heavenly court first. Morong Yu sent out 2 streams of life force to stabilize Li Su and Little Ape King's injuries. Then, he brought them back to the heavenly court. After returning, Morong Yu immediately healed the injuries that had plagued Li Su and Little Ape King for more than 20 years. It did not even take half a day. At the same time, in the heavenly court, 20 immortal monarchs and 300 immortal kings had gathered. Even Xiahou, who was in seclusion, was awakened by Morong Yu. Morong Yu didn't say anything. He simply said to them, "Save them. Kill them." Everyone was excited. This was their first large-scale operation after joining the Heavenly Court. And in their first operation, they were chosen by the Heavenly Court's master. This was their honor. Chapter 624. After putting everyone into the Hichu Luoshu world, Morong Yu directly rushed to Bamboo Province. When they arrived at the city with the teleportation array, Morong Yu let Xiahou out. There was no other way. Although Morong Yu was strong, he was only in the golden immortal realm. With such a realm, he was not qualified to use the teleportation array. Morong Yu did not want any accidents to happen. Otherwise, he could use force, but that would cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. With the help of the teleportation array, Morong Yu used a full month to enter Bamboo Province and arrived at Bamboo City. Bamboo Province was a very special province in the heavenly realm. Just as the words on the surface said, the entire Bamboo Province was a large province made of bamboo. In the Bamboo Province there were not many other plants and trees. The only thing that existed was all kinds of bamboo. All kinds of bamboo formed a world of bamboo. And Bamboo City was a city made of bamboo. Here, whether it was in the mountains, behind the courtyard, or even the houses, they were all made of bamboo. The He clan was a big force in Bamboo Province, a first-rate force in the immortal realm. However, according to legend, the He clan was much stronger than ordinary first-rate forces. There was no other reason but because an old ancestor in the He clan had broken through to the immortal Emperor realm. If it was not for their foundation, the He clan would have become a first-rate force in the immortal realm. However, even if they were not a first-rate force, the He clan was still very powerful. They were an overlord of Bamboo Province. They almost controlled the entire Bamboo Province. Whoosh! Morong Yu appeared in Bamboo City. Then, with a flash, Li Su and Little Ape King appeared beside him. At this time, their injuries had been healed and their strength had returned to the peak, reaching the profound immortal realm. After all, they were the proud sons of heaven in the Huaxia cultivation world. Their cultivation speed was naturally not slow. In a short period of time, they had already reached the profound immortal realm from the heavenly immortal realm. Their cultivation speed was also very fast and terrifying. Of course, they could not be compared to Morong Yu. Bamboo City, we've finally arrived. A wisp of fierce killing intent flashed through the Little Ape King's eyes as his entire body seethed with killing intent. Let's go to the He clan. Morong Yu could not suppress the killing intent in his heart. The Ape King nodded and flew towards the He clan with Li Su. At the same time, Morong Yu instructed Xiahou to conceal his cultivation and quickly followed. However, after walking for a short distance, the Little Ape King and Li Su stopped. Morong Yu saw the hatred in the Little Ape King and Li Su's eyes as they looked ahead. Morong Yu's brows slightly creased as he followed their gazes, only to see a group of several dozen people slowly walking over. The person in the lead was a young man around the age of 25 or 26. His countenance was pale and gloomy while his eyes were dim and lusterless, and his strength was around the mysterious immortal realm. The weakest among them was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, and the strongest among them was a 9 heavens mystic celestial. From the looks of it, these people were the young man's servants and subordinates. How could a mysterious immortal realm cultivator have such powerful subordinates and servants? Clearly, the young man's identity was not simple. A cold glint flashed across Morong Yu's eyes. He did not know the young man's identity, but he could see the black halo around the young man's body. A black halo. The black halo around the young man's body was stronger than any of the villain's halos he had seen. In other words, the young man's villainous star was the highest he had seen so far. On top of that, the people behind the young man were also black. Their villainous stars were not low as well. When Morong Yu and the others stopped, the young man stopped as well. Clearly, he had also noticed Morong Yu and the others. To be more precise, he had also noticed the little ape king and Li Su. As for Morong Yu, he was not from the demon clan, nor was he an acquaintance of the young man. He was not special, so it was only natural that the young man ignored him. It's you too. When he saw the little ape king and Li Su, the young man's originally dim eyes immediately lit up. Then, he revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. So it's you two bastards. Men, capture them and make them my pets and mount. Damn it, I didn't even get to share the 2 lions from before. He Yang was very displeased. He was a direct descendant of the He clan. Although his strength was not high, his status was not low. Many years ago, his older brother had unintentionally captured a golden lion from the demon clan. He had forcefully subdued it and made it his mount. This made him very envious. Over 20 years ago, his older brother had captured another lion. That lion was the son of the lion from before. At that time, He Yang had wanted to obtain the little Lion King. However, his older brother, He Hai, had monopolized it. There was nothing he could do. Although He Yang's status in the He clan was very high, his older brother's status seemed to be slightly higher than his. Thus, although He Yang was resentful, there was nothing he could do about it. After all, his status and power were inferior to his older brother's. Today, He Yang, who was in a bad mood, was wandering around the city with a group of servants. He was looking for a few women to vent his anger. However, before he could find a woman that he liked, he saw the little ape king and Li Su. He Yang was naturally involved in the conflict over 20 years ago. Therefore, he naturally recognized the little ape king and Li Su. Moreover, he knew that the little ape king was also a demon. If he could take down the little ape king, then he would have a mount and pet that was not too weak. As for Li Su, murderous intent flashed through He Yang's eyes. He sneered and said, "Capture that demon and kill that human. Kill the 2 beside him as well." A cold light flashed through Morong Yu's eyes, and endless murderous intent surged from his heart. Morong, this guy is someone from the He clan. His status seems to be quite high. The little Lion King and the others were captured by his older brother. Speaking of this, the little ape king could not suppress his murderous intent. If that's the case, then kill them all. However, don't do it. Xiahou, just watch. Morong Yu sneered as he took a step forward and closed in on He Yang. These people were great villains. Killing them would earn him a lot of stars. Morong Yu would not let Xiahou and the others do it. It would be too wasteful. You're just a perfected golden immortal. You overestimate yourself. A 9 Heavens Xian immortal looked at Morong Yu with disdain. While sneering, he slapped at Morong Yu, wanting to kill Morong Yu. Seeing Morong Yu walk out, the little ape king and Li Su were not worried at all. Although he didn't know how strong Morong Yu was, he had no idea. However, they knew that Xiahou was an immortal emperor. As long as he was here, nothing would happen to Morong Yu. Is that so? Hearing the 9 Heavens Xian immortal's disdainful words, Morong Yu could not help but laugh. For a long time, many people had looked down on his realm. However, they did not know that Morong Yu's realm and true strength were worlds apart. Moreover, the result of looking down on Morong Yu was the same, death. The corner of Morong Yu's mouth curled into a sneer as he threw out a punch. Bang! The 9 Heavens Xian immortal's hand was crushed into powder by Morong Yu's punch. At the same time, Morong Yu's divine fist was unimpeded as it blasted forward with an indomitable will. With a bang, the 9 Heavens Xian immortal was killed. Even until his death, the 9 Heavens Xian immortal did not understand what was going on. How did he die at the hands of a perfected golden immortal? This guy looks so strong, but he couldn't even take a punch from Morong. Is he just an embroidered pillow? Little Ape King had thought that the 9 Heavens Xian immortal was very strong, but now it seemed that was not the case. He's a 9 heavens Xian immortal, Xiaohuo's indifferent voice sounded in their ears. Both the little ape king and Li Su trembled. Then, their faces were filled with shock. A 9 heavens Xian immortal was a super expert in the world of immortals. However, he was killed by Morongyu with a single punch? It wasn't that he was too weak, but that Morongyu was too strong. Could it be that Morong had reached the immortal king realm? Little Ape King and Li Su looked at each other in shock. The Holy Lord is still a perfected golden immortal. His strength does not match his realm. If anyone underestimates his realm, they will definitely die, Xiaohuo explained. At that moment, Morongyu had already sent out a few punches in succession, killing all of He Yang's realm slaves. He Yang was the only one who was not killed. Morong, don't kill this bastard yet. I want to beat him up, Little Ape King said hatefully. If that's the case, then there's no problem. Morongyu lightly smiled. Then, with a tap of his finger, he imprisoned He Yang. How dare you kill my people? How dare you touch me? You're courting death. The He clan will never let you go. He Yang's eyes were filled with fear as he screamed in horror. Was every villain from a major faction like this? Morongyu's eyes flashed with disdain. With a thought, the world became quiet. He had also restricted He Yang's right to speak. Beat this bastard to death. Little Ape King and Li Su rushed up, venting all the anger they had held in for more than 20 years on He Yang. He Yang was beaten up badly by them, rolling on the ground in pain. What frightened He Yang the most was that although Little Ape King and Li Su were ruthless, they controlled their strength well. However, he was able to control his strength very well. His strength kept beating him up and injuring him, but he didn't kill him. When he was injured to a certain extent, He Yang felt a surge of energy enter his body. Then, his injuries were healed. This cycle repeated over and over again, making He Yang want to die. However, Little Ape King and Li Su didn't want him to die. Naturally, he couldn't die either. He could only take the beating from Little Ape King and Li Su. Chapter 625. After the beating, apart from his soul, there was no other part of He Yang's body that was intact. Moreover, this was due to Morongyu constantly using his life force to heal him. Otherwise, he would have long since died from the pain. However, Morongyu kept healing him. This was not for his own good, but to make him suffer even more pain. Chi. Morongyu's finger drew across the void, and a spatial energy cut off He Yang's head. Immediately, fresh blood spurted out from He Yang's neck and soared into the sky. He Yang's head was raised high. The Little Ape King reached out his hand and grabbed He Yang's head. Li Su, on the other hand, struck out with his palm, turning He Yang's body into dust. Let's go to the He clan to give them a big gift. The Little Ape King vented his anger and flew towards the He clan with He Yang's head. With Morongyu and the immortal Emperor Xiaohuo present, the Little Ape King and Li Su had nothing to fear. The Little Ape King carried He Yang's head and rushed towards the He clan. Along the way, many people saw Morongyu and the others who were filled with killing intent. When they saw He Yang's head in the Little Ape King's hand, they all knew that Bamboo City was about to change. He Yang was a person with a relatively high status in the He clan. Although he was not very strong, his status was there. Therefore, no one dared to do anything to him even if he committed all sorts of atrocities. This was because he was from the He clan, and the He clan was the overlord of Bamboo City. Boom, boom, boom. Before Morongyu and the others arrived at the He family, they heard a series of intense energy explosions coming from up ahead. Waves of energy fluctuations were constantly transmitted to them. The He clan is up ahead. Could it be that other than us, there's someone else looking for trouble with the He clan? The Little Ape King said to Morongyu and the others in a deep voice. If that's the case, then we'll just take the opportunity to destroy the He clan, Li Su said calmly with killing intent in his eyes. As for Morongyu, since he had brought so many experts with him, He naturally wouldn't let the He clan off so easily. This time, not only did he want to save the little Lion King and his son, but he also wanted the He family to pay a sufficient price. What was the price? That would depend on the He family's attitude. If their attitude satisfied Morongyu naturally wouldn't be too ruthless. If the He clan's attitude was bad, then sorry, the He clan might even be destroyed. Fight in front of the He family? This person was definitely here to cause trouble for the He family. Morongyu was also very interested in these people. Therefore, he used his ocean-like spiritual force to explore them. In front of the He family was a large, empty square. At this moment, the plaza was already surrounded by immortals of various powers. In the crowd, two young men were fighting. One of them had a sinister face and looked somewhat similar to He Yang, who was holding the human head in the little ape king's hand. It should be He Yang's elder brother. He was much stronger than He Yang and had already reached the golden immortal realm. His opponent was also a young man in white. However, this young man's strength was a little weaker. He had only reached the early stage of the golden immortal realm. Even if he was strong and could kill people of a higher realm, his opponent was at the late stage of the golden immortal realm. Most importantly, the young man in white was already seriously injured. It's Li Ling. When Morongyu used his spiritual force to explore, he found that the young man in white was Li Ling. He was Li Feng's son. However, this guy was now in a precarious situation. He was seriously injured and was being suppressed by He Hai. If he couldn't leave this place, then his final outcome would definitely be very tragic. At this moment, Li Ling's heart was already filled with anger. He happened to pass by here and saw that the little Lion King had become He Hai's mount. One had to know that the little Lion King was Morongyu's friend, and Li Ling was Morongyu's nephew. In other words, the little Lion King was Li Ling's uncle. Li Ling naturally wouldn't let him go and directly challenged He Hai. He was at the early stage of the golden immortal realm, and He Hai was at the late stage of the golden immortal realm. Li Ling, a cultivator at the early stage of the golden immortal realm, wanted to challenge him? He didn't accept it against Chang Li's will. This was because he didn't think that Li Ling would be his opponent. Otherwise, if he thought that Li Ling had enough strength to threaten him, He Hai would definitely not accept Li Ling's challenge. However, what He Hai couldn't understand was that Li Ling's strength had exceeded his realm by so much. As soon as the battle began, He Hai found that he was being suppressed by Li Ling. Moreover, what made him most unhappy was that Li Ling was getting stronger as the battle went on. In the end, he was in danger and was almost killed by Li Ling. He Hai didn't want to die, so he sent a voice transmission to the 9 Heavens Xian immortals of the He family to attack. The 9 Heavens Xian immortals attacked Li Ling at the same time. Even if Li Ling was strong, how could he withstand the attacks of these 9 Heavens Xian immortals at the same time? After persevering for a short while, Li Ling was heavily injured. After Li Ling was seriously injured, He Hai ordered the experts of the He family to stop attacking. He wanted to kill Li Ling himself. Such despicable actions made Li Ling very angry. But now, he was forced to fight with He Hai. He couldn't escape at all. This was because the 9 Heavens Xian immortals of the He family had their divine senses locked onto him. Once he left, they would immediately attack. These despicable and shameless bastards. Am I going to die here today? Am I going to lose my life here today? Am I going to be killed by these disgusting, despicable bastards? Li Ling thought to himself as he increased his strength to fight with He Hai. This bastard, he's seriously injured but he's still so strong. Damn it. At this moment Li Ling's opponent, He Hai, was cursing in his heart. Even if Li Ling was seriously injured, He Hai couldn't kill him. This was because he realized that Li Ling had a lot of Dharma treasures and weapons. Moreover, he had a lot of immortal spiritual pills and immortal meridians to replenish his strength. Should I let them continue attacking and beat him half to death first? He Hai muttered to himself. He was a little frustrated that he couldn't kill Li Ling after a long time. Little did he know that Li Ling was getting more and more anxious. He did have a lot of Dharma treasures, weapons, and even immortal meridians, but these couldn't help him break out of the encirclement. Most importantly, he was seriously injured. In the middle of a battle, he couldn't heal at all. Moreover, Li Ling didn't know when it started, but he realized that there was a very powerful divine sense locked onto him. It was at least of the immortal king level. Once he tried to escape, this expert who had locked onto him would definitely kill him. I wonder if the jade slip Uncle gave me is useful. Uncle said that if I'm in danger and crush the jade slip, he'll be the first to come to my side. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's all I can do. Hold on a little longer. Damn it, these chaos. When this young master is strong enough one day, I will personally get rid of all these despicable and shameless He clan. Li Ling. At this moment, Little Ape King and the others also saw Li Ling and saw that he was in danger. Murong Yu, hurry up and attack. These He family people are very shameless. I'm afraid something will happen to Li Ling, Li Su said in a low voice. Little Ape King, keep He Yang's head first. We're not in a hurry to attack. Li Ling is very angry now. He needs to win this battle to release the anger in his heart. Murong Yu sneered and strode into the crowd. How could Murong Yu not know Li Ling's strength? He didn't believe that Li Ling's injuries were caused by He Yang. He Yang didn't have that ability. Murong Yu's guess wasn't wrong. Little Ape King and Li Su looked at each other. Since Murong Yu said so, they didn't say anything else. After all, Murong Yu couldn't just watch Li Su attack. Damn it, I can't hold on anymore. If this continues, I'll die. No, I'll summon Uncle. I hope Uncle's jade bamboo strip can successfully summon Uncle. Otherwise, I'll be dead today. Uncle, I'm the son of your best friend, Li Feng. You must be summoned by me. Li Ling muttered in his heart. A jade bamboo strip had already appeared in his hand. Just as he was about to crush the jade bamboo strip, Li Ling felt a force full of vitality enter his body. Then, he was shocked to see that the injuries in his body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye under the effect of this force. Haha! I'm not destined to die yet. Which great god is secretly helping me? Since that's the case, I won't summon Uncle for now. I'll kill these F***curs first. In the blink of an eye, Li Ling's injuries were mostly healed. After his injuries were almost healed, Li Ling could use more and more strength. Boom! Li Ling's body shook violently. His injuries were finally healed. At the same time, an extremely powerful aura exploded from his body. He Hai, you despicable bastard! Give me your life! After his strength was restored to its peak, Li Ling's battle intent soared as he charged toward He Hai. Quick, attack! He Hai was shocked when he sensed Li Ling's terrifying aura. He quickly sent a voice transmission to the few 9 Heavens Xian immortals outside, asking them to attack and injure Li Ling again. Humph! Murong Yu snorted when he saw that the 9 Heavens Xian immortals were about to attack. He finally understood how Li Ling was injured. However, that was before. Now that he was here, how could he let Li Ling continue to be injured? He snorted coldly in his heart, and an invisible space cover covered the open space in the field. Bang! 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 Just as the space shield was cast, the 9 Heavens Xian immortals attacked. However, they were shocked to find that their attacks had been blocked. Chapter 626. Layers of ripples appeared in the void around the square. This was because the 9 Heavens Xian immortals from the He clan had attacked. These 9 Heavens Xian immortals wanted to use the same trick to severely injure Li Ling. However, their attacks had only reached halfway when they disappeared into thin air. All it could do was cause ripples to appear in space. What's going on? Everyone was shocked, especially the 9 Heavens Xian immortals who attacked because they didn't notice anything blocking their path. They did not believe it and attacked again. However, they were shocked to see that the result was the same. Their strength could not even enter the square, much less attack Li Ling. Seeing this, many people were shocked. Only Li Ling laughed out loud. Li Ling had long experienced the shamelessness of the He family. Therefore, after his body was repaired by the expert who had saved him, he attacked He Hai with all his might. However, he was wary of the 9 Heavens Xian immortals from the He clan. Just as he expected, the 9 Heavens Xian immortals attacked. Li Ling cursed in his heart. Just as he was wondering if the expert who had healed his injuries would intervene, he saw this scene. "Haha, He Hai, today is the day you die." Li Ling laughed out loud as he pounced towards He Hai. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and kill him!" At this time, He Hai was scared stiff. When he saw Li Ling rushing over, he could only keep retreating. At the same time, he cursed at the He clan's experts. The 9 Heavens Xian immortals were furious and their expressions were ugly. Immediately, waves of terrifying power burst out and bombarded Yi Futian. However, Murong Yu's ingenious use of the spatial power transferred their power to a faraway place. They could not break the spatial shield at all. An expert is secretly helping that kid. Young master is in danger. Let's go back and report this. One of the 9 Heavens Xian immortals thought and flew back to the He clan. Trying to leave? When the 9 Heavens Xian immortals attacked, Murong Yu had already locked onto them. Now they wanted to run? How could he let them run away? What happened? The figure of the 9 Heavens Xian immortal from the He clan swayed. Just as he was about to soar into the sky, he found that he couldn't move. He had been imprisoned. At the same time, the other 9 Heavens Xian celestials of the He clan were also horrified. This was because they had all been imprisoned by Murong Yu. "I'll let you be despicable and shameless, I'll let you be tyrannical, I'll let you be so ugly, I'll let you plot against me, I'll let you think of me, I'll let you. Damn it, I just don't like you." At this moment, Li Ling chased after Lin Fan relentlessly while growling. At this moment, He Hai was in a very sorry state. His strength was originally inferior to Li Ling's. At this moment, one of them was filled with fighting spirit while the other had no fighting spirit at all. There was no suspense in the outcome. It was only a matter of time before He Hai was killed. Humph! At this moment, a muffled groan came from the He clan not far away. At the same time, a large hand reached out from the He family. With terrifying power, it crushed the space and slammed towards Li Ling, who was in the middle of battle. An immortal king. A cold light flashed through Murong Yu's eyes. The person who'd attacked was an immortal king. When the puppy is about to be killed, the old dog will come out. This is the He clan. Little Ape King said disdainfully. His voice wasn't loud, but it was just loud enough for the people around him to hear clearly. "A dog will always be a dog," Li Su also said disdainfully. They were very displeased with the He clan. Moreover, it was even more disdainful for an immortal king to deal with a golden immortal of the great all-embracing heaven. At the same time, most of the onlookers also revealed disdainful expressions. It was just that they didn't dare say it out loud like Little Ape King. However, everyone knew what they were thinking. "Xiaohojue, don't make a move yet." Seeing that Xiaohojue intended to make a move, Murong Yu hurriedly transmitted his voice. He'd yet to join forces with an immortal king after mastering the 5-character formula. Now was the perfect time. Bang! The immortal king realm expert's huge hand, which carried a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth, directly slapped down on the spatial barrier. Layers of ripples suddenly appeared in the void. However, the huge hand of the He clan's immortal king was blocked in the void. The violent power had been removed, and the immortal king's huge hand could no longer advance. What's going on? The immortal king of the He clan was shocked. Although he didn't use his full strength, that palm could even kill a peak 9 Heavens Xian immortal. But now, it was blocked in the void? There was nothing in the void. He couldn't even see any obstruction with his divine sense. However, the He clan immortal king clearly felt that his huge hand was blocked by a layer of transparent barrier. The immortal king snorted coldly and retracted his huge hand. Then, he condensed an even more powerful force and slapped down again. Just like the first time, other than causing more ripples to appear in the space, his large hand was still blocked, and the violent power was instantly neutralized. Boom, boom, boom. He slapped down a few times in a row, but he couldn't shake the spatial barrier at all. And the immortal king had already raised his strength to the limit. Swish. Finally, after failing to shake it a few times, the immortal king flew out of the He clan. Which senior is joking with me here? The immortal king looked like a middle-aged man. At this moment, he was scanning his surroundings with a gloomy expression. At the same time, he looked at He, who was in the spatial barrier, with a worried expression. At this moment, He was once again suppressed by Li Ling. He was about to be killed by Li Ling. Get down here. Murong Yu snorted coldly. Then, the immortal king of the He clan felt a terrifying force acting on his body. Then, he couldn't help but, with a bang, his entire body fell to the ground in a dog-eat-shit posture. At this moment, the terrifying force still hadn't disappeared. It was like a divine mountain pressing down on his body, making him unable to move. Even his strength was imprisoned. This time, it wasn't Murong Yu who made a move, but Xiaozhua. A mere immortal king dared to fly above him, an immortal emperor. This was a great disrespect to his status. Swish, swish, swish. When the immortal king of the He clan was suppressed on the ground, a few more figures flew out from the depths of the He clan. They didn't emit a powerful aura, but Xiaozhua could tell their cultivation realm at a glance. They were all immortal monarchs. An immortal king was instantly suppressed, which made the experts of the He clan immediately know that an expert had made a move. And this expert was at least an immortal monarch. Friend who secretly attacked, this is the bamboo city of our He clan. Our He clan welcomes your arrival. However, we don't want to make things unpleasant, right? So, friend, please be magnanimous and let that idiot go. An immortal monarch of the He clan said in a deep voice. His voice wasn't loud, but it was extremely clear and spread far and wide. At this moment, an incomparably mournful voice was heard. The expressions of the few immortal monarchs of the He clan immediately changed because the scream came from He. At this moment, He was in a very sorry state. One of his arms had been blasted into powder by Li Ling. For experts of their level, losing an arm wasn't a problem. They could easily regenerate it. However, this was a fatal blow to He, and his fighting spirit was instantly gone. Bang! At this moment, Li Ling rushed forward and sent He flying with a punch. Then, he turned into a ray of white light and rushed forward, stomping He to the ground. He, I'll ask you again. Are you going to let Senior Lion King and the others leave? Li Ling looked at He with murderous intent. If He dared to say no, he would crush He with his foot. Brat, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the few immortal monarchs of the He clan flew into a rage. They no longer cared about whether there were any experts around them. One of the immortal monarchs shouted angrily and stretched out his hand to grab Li Ling. Xiaozhua, stop him. When the immortal monarchs made their move, Murong Yu hurriedly transmitted a message to Xiaozhua. He knew that his spatial shield was powerful and should be able to withstand the attack of an immortal monarch. However, he didn't want to risk Li Ling's life. Once the spatial shield was broken, Li Ling would be in danger. Xiaozhua nodded expressionlessly and then snorted coldly. Bang! The hand of the immortal monarchs was shattered. As for the immortal monarchs, his body trembled violently as if he had been electrocuted. Finally, the immortal monarchs couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. Seeing this scene, the He clan couldn't help but be shocked. This was because although the attacker was only an early-stage immortal monarch, He was still an immortal monarch. To be able to injure an immortal monarch in an instant, who exactly was this person? Although the He clan didn't know who did it, they all knew that the person who secretly attacked was at least a late-stage immortal monarch. Even the He clan didn't have many late-stage immortal monarchs. Even the He clan had to be careful when making an enemy of such a person. Who exactly was this person? When did the He clan offend such a person? Li Ling, kill He Hai. Just as Li Ling was about to interrogate He Hai and ask him to release the little Lion King and the others, a voice suddenly appeared in his mind. Li Ling was taken aback. Then, he reacted and was overjoyed. Then, the power in his foot exploded. With a bang, He Hai was stomped to death. Chapter 6:27. You're too presumptuous. Seeing Li Ling stomp He Hai to death, the He clan's immortal lords were immediately enraged. In an instant, an incomparably terrifying aura erupted, sweeping in all directions and shooting straight into the sky. Rumble. The aura was like a tidal wave or a stormy sea with the He clan's experts as the center, wildly sweeping in all directions. Instantly, countless immortals around the square were caught in the crossfire. Bang! 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 Countless immortals were sent flying by the terrifying aura. Some of the immortals who were closer were even directly blasted into a bloody mist by the terrifying aura. In just an instant, hundreds of immortals were blasted to death. However, even more immortals were injured to varying degrees. Now, apart from Li Ling, who was enveloped by the spatial barrier, Murong Yu and the others were motionless. The spatial barrier was indeed miraculous. Although layers of incomparably violent ripples appeared from the impact of the immortal lord's terrifying aura, it did not break. In fact, Li Ling, who was within the spatial barrier, saw that when the energy approached the ripples, it was miraculously diverted. In other words, it was directly dispelled. Such a scene made Li Ling, who was originally trembling, calm down. After calming down, he curiously looked at the layers of ripples around him, wondering what they were. Outside the spatial barrier, Murong Yu did not make a move. With Xiahou Zhuo, an immortal emperor expert there, the He clan's immortal lords' terrifying auras were like child's play. When they rushed near Xiahou Zhuo, they automatically turned around and dissipated into the distance. All of you deserve to die. When he saw that these people had recklessly harmed the innocent and killed hundreds of immortals, a cold glint flashed in Murong Yu's eyes. Killing immortals so casually? It seemed that the He clan was not a good person either. Murong Yu even saw that the halos on these people's bodies had turned even darker after killing the hundreds of immortals. Although not many of the people who were killed were good people. However, it remained that they had died innocently. Thus, it was only natural that those people's evil star ratings would increase. Today, no matter what, we must destroy the He clan. At the very least, we must not let their villains off. Uncle. After the crowd was forced back, Li Ling finally saw Murong Yu and the others inside the spatial shield. Just now, he had heard Murong Yu's voice and knew that Murong Yu was nearby. Because of this, he suspected that all of this was done by Murong Yu in secret. Even if he didn't do it himself, it would be the people around him. Li Ling, come over here, Murong Yu said to Li Ling. At the same time, he gave Xiahou Zhuo a look. Then, Xiahou Zhuo took action and flew over to protect Li Ling. Li Ling, what are you doing? If I hadn't come in time, you would have died today. Seeing Li Ling walking over, Murong Yu's face darkened. Li Ling was Li Feng's son and Murong Yu's relative. This guy was always reckless and always stirred up trouble. Even though he had been the holy lord of Huaxia's cultivation world for many years, his character had not changed. Murong Yu did not want anything to happen to this guy. Hee, uncle, don't you always arrive in time? Of course, even if you don't come in time, I can still summon you. Didn't you say that once I summon you, you will appear in time? Li Ling looked at Murong Yu and said with a smile. Summon your head. Murong Yu gave this guy a knock on the head. This guy still had the temperament of a child. Murong Yu felt helpless. The uncle and nephew chatted, as if nothing had happened, and directly ignored the immortal lords of the He clan. Seeing this scene, the immortal lords of the He clan were furious. "Who are you?" An immortal lord took a step forward with a gloomy face and asked Murong Yu and the others with murderous intent. "Who are we?" Little Ape King suddenly sneered and took out He Yang's head from his storage ring. He threw it at them and said with a sneer, "I'm just someone who gave you a gift. However, this gift is a bit rubbish. I hope you don't take it to heart. As the saying goes, the gift is trivial but the thought is more important." He Yang? When they saw He Yang's head, the immortal lords of the He clan were furious. He Yang. All of them had been killed by the same group of people. The immortal lords of the He clan were furious and sorrowful. "Kill them!" An immortal lord roared and attacked angrily. He formed a huge palm with a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. It smashed down on Murong Yu and the others, wanting to crush Murong Yu and the others into dust. At the same time, the other immortal lords of the He clan attacked at the same time. They all exploded with terrifying power and attacked Murong Yu and the others. Murong Yu controlled the power of space to create a shield around him and the others. Then, he turned to Xiaozhua and said, "Is it okay to leave these immortal lords to you?" "Absolutely." Xiaozhua laughed sinisterly. The difference between an immortal emperor and an immortal lord couldn't be measured by Tao. In front of an immortal emperor, those who didn't have the strength of an immortal emperor were ants. No matter how many of them there were, they were still ants. Moreover, Xiaozhua had recently obtained an emperor weapon. With an additional emperor weapon, Xiaozhua could explode with strength stronger than his peak. Although, he hadn't completely refined this emperor weapon. "Xiaozhua, it's best if you don't kill them. I want to kill them with my own hands," Murong Yu suddenly said. Xiaozhua was stunned. He didn't know why Murong Yu hated these people so much. Of course, Xiaozhua didn't know that Murong Yu wanted to kill them for the star points. He only thought that Murong Yu hated these people. "Bastards, eat my brick," Xiaozhua sneered. He didn't do anything, but a golden brick the size of a mountain suddenly appeared in the air above the few immortal monarchs of the He clan. This was the emperor weapon that Xiaozhua had obtained after killing Ko Ping. At this moment, the brick emperor weapon carried a terrifying power that crushed the void and came crashing down. The He clan's immortal lords were shocked when they saw this. Sensing the danger, they immediately retracted their attacks and turned their attention to the golden brick that was pressing down on them. The attacks of the immortal monarchs collided with the golden brick at almost the same time. Boom! After an earth-shattering explosion, the He clan's immortal lords' attacks were shattered and turned into dust. However, the golden brick only paused for a moment before it turned into a golden light and came crashing down. "Kill!" The He clan's immortal lords went crazy. They roared and unleashed a terrifying power to attack the golden brick that was coming down. Boom! 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 However, there was a great disparity in strength between the two sides. No matter how the immortal lords attacked, they couldn't stop the golden brick's attack. Boom! After a loud explosion, the golden brick came crashing down with an unparalleled pressure. It suppressed the He clan's immortal lords deep into the ground. Why didn't the He clan's immortal lords run away? They knew that they weren't a match for the golden brick, so why did they still stand there foolishly? It wasn't that they didn't want to run away, but they had to have time to do so. From the appearance of the golden brick to the suppression of them deep into the ground, everything happened in an instant. In an instant, these tragic immortal lords couldn't escape at all. Poof! When they were suppressed by the golden brick, the He clan's immortal lords felt as though they were being crushed by a divine mountain from the heaven realm. Their bodies were instantly smashed into a pile of mush. However, the strange thing was that they didn't die. Because of Murong Yu's words, Xiaozhua didn't kill them. However, even if that was the case, they were still miserable enough. Weak. Xiaohua reached out and recalled the golden brick. At the same time, he pulled the immortal lords over. A cold light flashed in Murong Yu's eyes as a spatial energy flashed. The He clan's immortal lords were crushed into dust. They couldn't be more dead. Congratulations, young master. You've obtained 100,000 star points. At this moment, Butler Tian's voice rang in Murong Yu's mind. 100,000 star points? Is it just these immortal lords or He Yang and the rest? Murong Yu asked. In the past, every time Murong Yu killed a villain, Butler Tian would tell him how many star points he had obtained. However, later on, Murong Yu felt that it was too cumbersome to report the number like this. Hence, he discussed with Butler Tian. Once he reached 100,000 star points, he would tell Murong Yu. Including He Yang and the rest, young master, you've obtained a total of 100,000 star points. Butler Tian said respectfully. 100,000 star points. Murong Yu was a little shocked. One should know that when he killed villains with a higher star level in Huaxia's cultivation world, he had obtained a total of 3 million star points. That was the entire cultivation world. Countless villains had been killed, but he only obtained a few star points. However, he had only killed a few villains and obtained 100,000 star points. Apart from the fact that these immortal lords were stronger than Murong Yu and Murong Yu would obtain additional star points as a reward, the most important reason was that these villains had extremely high star levels. He clan. Murong Yu's eyes flickered as he looked at the He clan in front of him. Looking from afar, the entire He clan was surrounded by a layer of black qi. This was the black halo on the He clan's immortals. After they gathered, even the entire sky was affected. One could imagine how many villains there were in the He clan. This overlord of Bamboo State must have done a lot of bad things. Let's go. We'll go directly to the He clan. Li Ling and the rest were shocked by Xiaohua's methods. After a long while, they finally reacted. Li Ling said with a face full of excitement. Chapter 628. All of you deserve to die. However, before Murong Yu and the others could get close to the He family, a gloomy and terrifying voice came from the He family. Then, a huge and terrifying pressure like that of a heavenly god pressed down from the sky. At this moment, even though they were standing beside Xiaohua, Murong Yu and the others could feel a great force acting on them. The terrifying power was earth-shattering. It was like a divine mountain pressing down on them, wanting to crush them into dust. A cold light flashed in Xiaohua's eyes. In less than an instant, he had already reacted. At the same time, an extremely terrifying aura swept out and clashed with the powerful and terrifying pressure. Xiaohua made his move, and the pressure on Murong Yu and the others suddenly disappeared. That scared me to death. That aura is so terrifying. Li Ling's face was pale as he said with lingering fear. Just now, when that incomparably huge pressure came crashing down, it almost destroyed them. Fortunately, Xiaohua was already on guard. Moreover, Xiaohua's reaction was extremely fast. If he had been a moment slower, Li Ling and the others would have been crushed into dust by that terrifying pressure. Immortal Emperor! Xiaohua's eyes shone brightly. In fact, Murong Yu could even see the rising fighting spirit on his face. As an Immortal Emperor realm expert, only experts in the Immortal Emperor realm could make them feel battle intent and excitement. Swoosh! An old man appeared in front of Murong Yu and the others. The old man's face was sinister, and his body emitted a terrifying pressure. His eyes flickered with a terrifying cold light as he looked at Murong Yu and the others. You all killed my He family's people. You all deserve to die. The old man was an Immortal Emperor realm existence of the He family, an ancestor-level existence. Hiyurong was an Immortal Emperor realm expert. A super expert of the He family. It was because of his existence that the He family had been standing tall and had gradually grown from a small family to an overlord of the Bamboo State. Could even be said that everything that the He family had today was all because of He Yurong. Without He Yurong, there would be no He family. As the patriarch of the He clan, He Yurong was not only powerful, but also vicious and merciless. His hands were stained with blood as he fought his way up. Therefore, in Murong Yu's eyes, this guy's entire body was shrouded in black chi, like black ink, incomparably black. This fellow's evil person star is very high. Murong Yu's eyes flashed. However, after seeing this guy, Murong Yu finally understood why almost everyone in the He family was evil. As the saying goes, if the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked. If the head of the He family was like this, then how good would the people below be? At that moment, He Yurong was extremely furious. He had only come out to play a little, but many of the He clan's experts had been killed. One had to know that there were only a few high immortal realm experts in the entire He clan. What angered He Yurong the most was that both He Hai and He Yang had been killed. Although these two people's strength was not very good, they were very doted on by He Yurong. This guy was very protective. All of you deserve to die. He Yurong looked at Murong Yu and the others with murderous intent as she walked over step by step. A terrifying aura soared into the sky and swept in all directions. Xiahozhua sneered in his heart as he looked at He Yurong with soaring battle intent. He Yurong did not ask who Murong Yu and the others were or why they were looking for trouble with the He clan. These were not her concern. In any case, they were all going to die. They were all going to die. So what if she knew their identity? Seeing that He Yurong's aura was getting stronger and stronger, and she even had the intention to fight in Bamboo City, Xiahozhua could not help but frown. Let's fight outside the city. Xiahozhua looked at He Yurong and said in a deep voice. He did not want to fight here. Once the two immortal emperors fought in Bamboo City would be destroyed by their terrifying power. At that time, countless lives would be caught in the crossfire and killed by them. He Yurong nodded. After all, the He clan was also in Bamboo City. Once they fought, the He clan would definitely be destroyed. That was something He Yurong did not want to see. Immediately, He Yurong soared into the sky and flew into the distance. As he left, he transmitted a message to the He clan's experts, telling them to kill Murong Yu without delay. Of course, if Xiahozhua took away Murong Yu and the others, the He clan's experts would not need to do anything. That way, he would personally kill Xiahozhua and the others. Don't worry about us. You just need to kill He Yurong. Murong Yu transmitted when he saw Xiahozhua's hesitation. In that case, all of you must be careful. Xiahozhua instructed, then soared into the sky and charged into the distance. In a short while, he disappeared into the distant horizon. Oh my God, those two great gods are finally gone. After Xiahozhua and the others left, the two terrifying auras that had enveloped Bamboo City finally disappeared. Only then did the immortals in Bamboo City breathe a sigh of relief. Although the two auras had no intention of targeting them and were controlled by the two immortal emperors within a certain range. However, even the tip of the iceberg of immortal emperors' might was enough to make their souls tremble. While everyone in Bamboo City relaxed, Little Ape King and the others felt their hearts tighten. That was because as soon as Xiahozhua and the others left, many people rushed out from the He clan and surrounded him. These bastards are really shameless, Little Ape King said through gritted teeth. The people who surrounded them were all very powerful. They were far from what they could compare with 10 immortal monarchs and 20 immortal kings. These shouldn't be all of the He clan's experts. Murong Yu and the others. Only Murong Yu remained calm and collected. Logically speaking, it shouldn't take so many years to kill Murong Yu and the others who weren't even 9 Heavens Xian immortals. However, Murong Yu and the others had killed some of their immortal monarchs before. They had to be careful, or rather, they were afraid of death. Take them down. An immortal monarch coldly glanced at Murong Yu and the others and then shouted. Immediately, an immortal monarch stretched out his hand and grabbed Murong Yu and the others. Wait! At this moment, Murong Yu suddenly shouted. Hearing this, the He clan's people couldn't help but pause. A strange smile appeared on Murong Yu's face. He looked at the He clan's experts and said, "Before we make a move, I want to give you some gifts." A small gift, please accept it." The He clan's experts frowned slightly, not knowing what Murong Yu meant. However, they soon understood the meaning behind Murong Yu's words. Before Murong Yu's voice fell, an immortal king from the He clan's side suddenly flew up. At the same time that this immortal king's head was chopped off, even more immortal kings' heads flew up. In just a short period of time, more than 20 immortal kings were beheaded. Even their souls were killed. Seeing this scene, the He clan's people couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Even though they were immortal monarchs, they didn't know who had beheaded these immortal kings. This was because they couldn't sense the fluctuations of power at all. Even if it was an immortal Emperor realm expert who made a move, even if it was so fast that they couldn't react, there would still be fluctuations of power. But now there was nothing. It was as if those people's heads were cut off by themselves. It was too terrifying. These immortal monarchs felt a chill in their hearts, and cold sweat appeared on their backs. These terrified immortal monarchs naturally didn't know what was going on. Other than Murong Yu, no one present knew what was going on. Spatial rules, spatial power. Just now, Murong Yu directly used the power of space to kill all those immortal kings. As for why he didn't kill these immortal monarchs, this was because he didn't have the confidence to do so. Kill them! These terrified immortal monarchs roared and then attacked at the same time, attacking Murong Yu and the other three. Spatial barrier. Spatial imprisonment. Spatial barrier. In an instant, Murong Yu attacked repeatedly. While imprisoning the space around those immortal monarchs, he also created a spatial barrier between them like a wall. Finally, he added a spatial barrier around himself and the others. However, Murong Yu was still a little worried. He had already secretly contacted Black Lotus in his heart. Once the spatial barrier he set up couldn't hold on, Black Lotus would immediately attack. The moment the 10 immortal monarchs were about to attack, they suddenly felt as if they had fallen into a swamp. In the void, an inexplicable force entangled them, as if to imprison them. Everyone was shocked, and at the same time, they unleashed a terrifying power. Boom! 10 immortal monarchs unleashed their strongest power at the same time, which was very terrifying. At the very least, Murong Yu's spatial imprisonment couldn't restrain them. Even the spatial power that Murong Yu controlled was instantly shattered. After all, Murong Yu was only a golden immortal. Even if the spatial rules were powerful, he could only control the surface. It might be possible to imprison an immortal monarch. However, it was impossible to imprison 10 immortal monarchs at the same time. Unless he had a deeper understanding of the law of space, a stronger control over it, or an even stronger power. Boom! After the 10 immortal monarchs broke through the spatial shackles, their terrifying power also shattered the spatial barrier between them. Retreat! When they broke through the spatial shackles, Murong Yu quickly retreated with the little ape king and the others. "Where do you think you're going?" The immortal monarchs of the He family laughed sinisterly and chased after them. However, at this moment, Murong Yu didn't panic. On the contrary, he revealed a smile. Chapter 629. The immortal monarchs of the He clan laughed sinisterly. Their terrifying power had already torn through the void and blasted towards Murong Yu. "Deities of the heaven realm, listen to my command. Quickly show yourself and kill the evildoers. Show yourself." Murong Yu quickly retreated with the little ape king and the others. During the process, he even shouted some tricks that were similar to the tricks used by charlatans in the mortal world. However, when everyone looked at Murong Yu with disdain, they were surprised to find that, as soon as Murong Yu's voice fell, the void in front of Murong Yu cracked open. Then, one figure after another rushed out of the void. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of experts appeared in front of the He clan. This? How is this possible? Seeing this scene, the He clan was shocked. Even the little Ape King and the others were stunned. However, the little Ape King and the others soon reacted. These people were not summoned by Murongyu from the Heaven Realm. They were only summoned from the Hichu Luoshu world. When Murongyu left Feng City, in addition to Xiahou Jua, an immortal emperor, he also brought 20 immortal monarchs and 300 immortal kings. Now, these people were the experts of the heavenly court. Kill them! Leave no one alive! As soon as these people appeared, Murongyu shouted in a low voice. Then, these experts of the heavenly court rushed towards the few experts of the He clan. At this moment, the experts of the He clan finally reacted. These people were not really summoned by Murongyu. Instead, they were people in Murongyu's space treasure. However, by the time they reacted, it was already too late. There were only 10 immortal monarchs in the He clan, and their strength was not too strong. On the other hand, the 20 immortal monarchs that Murongyu brought over were all experts among the immortal monarchs. The weakest among them was a late-stage immortal monarch. When the 20 late-stage immortal monarchs attacked, the experts of the He clan were immediately injured. Bang! An early-stage immortal monarch from the He clan was killed before he could even react to the joint attack of 2 late-stage immortal monarchs from the heavenly court. At the same time, as soon as this immortal monarch was killed, a second immortal monarch from the He clan was killed as well. In just a short while, 3 immortal monarchs had fallen. And this was only their first encounter. Boom! 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 The 20 immortal lords of the heavenly court did not hesitate at all. After Murongyu gave the order to kill, he launched the most terrifying bombardment. Bang! 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 Normally, it would be the most direct and terrifying attack, but the other side wouldn't be able to react in time. In the end, the He clan's celestial dukes kept dying. Finally, by the time the He clan's experts reacted, the He clan had already lost 6 immortal monarchs. Although the strength of the 6 immortal monarchs was nothing special, the strongest among them was only at the intermediate stage of the immortal monarch realm. However, 6 immortal lords had fallen in an instant. These were 6 immortal dukes. Not an ordinary celestial immortal. It should be known that immortal monarchs were considered the top experts in the celestial world. Even an ordinary immortal monarch could support a first-rate force. Even the death of one immortal monarch was a heavy loss to a force like the He clan. But now, a large number of them had fallen. In an instant, the immortal monarchs of the He clan were all stunned. However, they were still powerful experts after all, so their reaction was extremely fast. After being stunned for a moment, they immediately reacted and wanted to retreat. With 4 immortal monarchs against 20 powerful immortal monarchs, if they were in their right minds, they would not fight head-on. Moreover, behind these 20 immortal monarchs, there were still 300 immortal kings. The power of 300 immortal kings attacking at the same time was extremely terrifying. However, just as they were about to retreat, they were shocked to find that the feeling of falling into a swamp appeared on them again. The hearts of the 4 immortal monarchs of the He clan sank. They knew that something bad was going to happen. Just now, 10 of them had to release their power at the same time to break the feeling of falling into a swamp. But now, there were only 4 of them. Even if they could break this feeling, they would still be blocked for a moment. And the 20 immortal monarchs of the heavenly court would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Sure enough, the 4 of them paused for a moment. It was only for a moment, and the power of the 20 immortal monarchs of the heavenly court had already bombarded them. Rumble, the terrifying power poured down like a storm. The 4 immortal monarchs of the He clan were immediately sent flying while vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. And this was only the beginning. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of terrifying power poured down continuously, instantly drowning all the immortal monarchs of the He clan. Bang! Finally, an immortal monarch could not withstand this terrifying attack, and his entire body was instantly blasted into dust. There were still 3 people left. With one less person, the pressure on the remaining experts of the He clan increased exponentially. Therefore, the result was as expected. The 3 experts of the He clan were killed one after another. Find the 2 of them and destroy the He clan. Murong Yu transmitted his voice to the immortal monarchs and immortal kings of the heavenly court. At the same time, he also transmitted the images of the Old Lion King and Little Lion King into their mind. The experts of the heavenly court responded and then soared into the sky, rushing towards the He clan. Don't come over. I'll go to the He clan to take a look. Murong Yu turned his head and instructed Li Su and the other 2. Then, he rushed into the He clan. Li Su and the other 2 nodded and did not enter the He clan. With their strength, if they were accidentally swept by the shock waves of the power of those experts, they would be killed. Kill. After Murong Yu entered the He family, he raised his strength to the limit. He even unleashed his phantom wings of light and started slaughtering his way through the He family. As long as they were evil people, once they were encountered by Murong Yu, they would be killed immediately. At this time, the 20 immortal monarchs of the heavenly court had already faced the remaining immortal monarchs of the He clan. The other 300 immortal kings also faced their corresponding expert. Therefore, Murong Yu was not worried that there would be immortal monarchs looking for him. Even if there were immortal monarchs targeting him, with his current strength, even if they were not immortal monarchs, at least ordinary immortal monarchs would not be able to do anything to him. There were many evil people in the He clan. Moreover, those powerful immortal kings were Murong Yu's targets. In fact, when Murong Yu saw an immortal monarchs being suppressed, he would rush over and use his strongest attack to kill them in one fell swoop. During this process, Steward Tian congratulated Murong Yu countless times. One had to know that Steward Tian would only remind Murong Yu once every time he reached 100,000 star point. Under the attacks of Murong Yu and the experts of the heavenly court, the He clan, which did not have any immortal monarchs, was reduced to ashes in less than half a day. Of course, the He clan was not extinct. Those who were not strong, the people of the heavenly court, did not kill innocent people. Instead, they expelled them from the He clan. In the end, after Murong Yu plundered the He clan, he smashed the He clan into dust with a palm strike. However, even though he had destroyed the He clan, Murong Yu was not happy. On the contrary, his face was gloomy. This was because they had searched the entire He clan but did not see the Little Lion King and his son. What's going on? You really didn't find them? Murong Yu gathered the experts of the heavenly court and asked in a deep voice. Sacred Lord, we really didn't see them. We have already used our divine senses to search several times. An immortal monarch said in a deep voice. Could it be that they have been killed by these bastards? Little Ape King and Li Su's expressions were not too good. If they could not find the Little Lion King and the others, there was only one possibility. They had been killed. Impossible, because I saw the Little Lion King not long ago. Li Ling said at this moment. It was precisely because he had discovered the Little Lion King that he had fought with He Hai. In other words, the Little Lion King and the others have disappeared during this period of time. Murong Yu said with a gloomy face. Could it be that He Yurong took them away? Li Su said with a frown. Why did he take the Little Lion King and the others away? Little Ape King said in a low voice. It was a little difficult to understand Li Su's speculation. Perhaps He Yurong already knows why we are here and took the Little Lion King and the others away as hostages. However, if he really has this idea, then he is gravely mistaken. Murong Yu's face was gloomy as he said with a murderous aura. Then what do we do now? Li Ling looked at Murong Yu, somewhat at a loss. Let's go see Xiaohojua and the others. I believe that at this time, the victor should have been decided. As he spoke, Morong Yu once again put the experts of the heavenly court into the Hichu Luoshu. Then, he, Li Ling and the others chased after Xiahou. Boom, boom, boom. In a place extremely far away from Bamboo City, waves of terrifying power continued to spread. The power was extremely terrifying, constantly shattering the void in front of it. The ground in front of it had long been ground to dust by this terrifying power. Even in the distance, Morong Yu's soul was suppressed by the terrifying pressure and trembled. Along the way, Morong Yu met many immortals. These people were all attracted by the battle between the immortal emperors. However, due to the terrifying power of the battle between the immortal emperors and the deterrence of the pressure, they could only watch from afar and did not dare to take half a step closer. In fact, they could not even see the situation in front of them. How are you guys? Morong Yu cast a spatial shield around everyone, isolating most of the terrifying aura and pressure outside. It's okay, I can barely hold on. However, if I continue to get closer, I won't be able to hold on. Little Ape King shook his head and smiled bitterly. He was still too weak. I'm about the same. Li Su also smiled helplessly. Since that's the case, you can enter my treasure space first. Li Ling, you go in too. Morong Yu glared at Li Ling and put the three of them inside. Immediately after, Morong Yu increased his speed and flew toward the battlefield. Chapter 630. With the power of space and Morong Yu's experience, the aura of an immortal emperor was not as terrifying to him as it was to others. Therefore, he continued to fly forward at high speed. However, before he could reach the battlefield, the terrifying aura in front of him suddenly dissipated. There were only two possibilities for the sudden disappearance of the aura. One was that the two combatants in the battle had changed their positions and left. The other possibility was that someone from both sides had been killed. Both of them must have been killed. I hope it was He Yurong who was killed. Morong Yu frowned slightly and immediately unleashed his fastest speed. He turned into a flash of black light and disappeared into the distant horizon. Swoosh! Morong Yu was extremely fast. It didn't take long for him to cross hundreds of millions of kilometers and appear at the place where Xiahou and He Yurong were fighting. The moment he appeared, Morong Yu saw Xiahou sitting cross-legged on the ground, bathed in blood. There was no one else within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. Xiahou was currently bathed in blood. Morong Yu could see that his entire body had been beaten to a pulp and his aura was extremely weak. Clearly, Xiahou had been severely injured. However, even though he was heavily injured and his body was in tatters, Xiahou's body emitted a shocking battle intent. Xiahou, how are you? Morong Yu asked as he sent over a stream of life energy to heal Xiahou's injuries. Under the terrifying power of life energy, Xiahou's physical injuries rapidly healed. Before long, he had recovered more than half of his injuries. Only then did Xiahou open his eyes. Xiahou's battle intent gradually receded as he said excitedly, "Holy Lord, fortunately, I didn't let you down. I've successfully killed He Yurong." He Yurong was very powerful. If Xiahou didn't have that imperial weapon, he definitely wouldn't be He Yurong's match and might even be killed. However, with the imperial weapon, it was equivalent to two Xiahou's fighting He Yurong. If one Xiahou wasn't He Yurong's match, what about two Xiahou's? Evidently, He Yurong was no match for Xiahou, who possessed an imperial armament. However, even so, Xiahou still used all his strength to kill He Yurong. Moreover, he had also been attacked by He Yurong before she died, and his entire body was almost smashed to pieces. If it hadn't been for Morong Yu's life force, it would have taken a long time for Xiahou to recover from his physical injuries. This was because He Yurong's power still filled his body. If Xiahou wanted to recover his strength, he had to expel this energy first. Otherwise, his body would not be able to recover. Did Hiyurong leave behind a storage ring? Morong Yu quickly asked. This was what he was most concerned about. This was because the little Lion King and his son were most likely in Hiyurong's storage ring. Yes, I've already obtained it, Xiaohojua said as he handed a storage ring to Morong Yu without hesitation. The moment he took the storage ring, Morong Yu covered it with his divine thought. Now that Hiyurong was dead, her storage ring naturally became an ownerless item. Therefore, Morong Yu's divine thought probed it without any hindrance. As expected, the little Lion King and his son are inside. When Morong Yu's divine thought probed into Hiyurong's storage ring, he saw the little Lion King and his son. However, both of them didn't seem to be in good condition at this time. Both of them had transformed into their original forms, golden lions. Moreover, both of them looked dispirited and listless. There was no sage level on their bodies. They were lifeless. The little Lion King was in the mystic immortal realm, while the elder Lion King was only in the heavenly immortal realm. After ascending for so many years, the elder Lion King was still in the heavenly immortal realm? There was no breakthrough? Was the elder Lion King's aptitude really that trashy? Morong Yu didn't have time to think about this. Instead, he released the little Lion King and his son from the storage ring. At the same time, the little Ape King and the others were also released from the Hichu Luoshu world by Morong Yu. The moment they were released, the little Lion King and his son glanced at their surroundings with lifeless eyes. When they saw that there wasn't anyone who made them feel deeply disgusted by their frowns, they looked puzzled. This was because not long ago, they realized that the wisp of soul that had been forcibly taken away had flown back and merged into their own souls. That wisp of soul was a part of their souls. Previously, it had been forcibly extracted by He-Hai so that he could control them at any time. They had no choice but to submit unconditionally, unable to even think of resisting. Could it be that He-Hai suddenly became kind and let them go? This thought suddenly flashed through the little Lion King and his son's minds. However, they quickly rejected this idea. He-Hai wasn't that kind of person at all. Then, there was only one possibility, and that was that He-Hai had been killed. Before they could rejoice, they realized that they had been captured and brought to this strange space. Little Lion King, old Lion King. The little Ape King roared in surprise when he saw the little Lion King and his son. It was as if the little Lion King and the old Lion King had just noticed Morong Yu and the others. Their faces were filled with shock and surprise. It's you. I didn't expect it to be you. The little Lion King was inexplicably excited and his body trembled. Haha, little Lion King, it's finally alright now. The He family has been destroyed. Old Lion King, you're finally free. The little Ape King laughed and hugged the little Lion King tightly. The little Lion King grimaced in pain from the hug, but his face was still filled with excitement. Thank you. Thank you. The old Lion King was extremely excited. At this moment, he even felt that all of this was unreal. He had never thought that he would be able to regain his freedom one day. Old Lion King, it wasn't me and the little Ape King who saved you. It was Morong Yu. If it wasn't for him, I'm afraid the two of us wouldn't have been able to hold on for long. Li Su said with a smile. Morong Yu, thank you. The old Lion King and the little Lion King walked in front of Morong Yu and bowed deeply to Morong Yu. Morong Yu quickly helped the two of them up and said with a solemn expression, The little Lion King and I are friends. How can I leave you in the lurch? This is what I should do. You shouldn't be so courteous. Otherwise, don't blame me for not treating you as friends. Haha, that's right. Why is there a need to be so polite between us? Since Morong Yu is so powerful now, we can be considered to have a backer. The little Ape King patted Morong Yu's shoulder, just like when they were in the cultivation world. Looking at these friends, Morong Yu's face also revealed a smile. In fact, Morong Yu didn't have many true friends. Morong Bo and the others were considered to be one. However, the group of friends he had the best relationship with back in the cultivation world was this group of friends. These people wouldn't alienate Morongyu just because he was getting stronger and stronger and the gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. Their relationship was still the same. However, Morongyu knew that this situation was only temporary. Once Morongyu became stronger and had a higher status, these friends wouldn't have a common topic even if they didn't alienate each other. Their strength is still too low. If they're too weak, it's inevitable that they'll encounter all kinds of unfavorable situations in the immortal world. Then, I can only help them become stronger. Morongyu didn't want to lose these friends. Therefore, he could only help them improve their cultivation. Increasing their strength wasn't a problem for Morongyu at all. With their aptitude, coupled with the support of the Immortal Expansion Pill and various other resources, it was only a matter of time before they became stronger. Alright, there will be people coming here soon. Let's go to my space treasure first. Let's go back to Feng Province first. As he spoke, Morongyu put Xiaohojua and the others into the Hichu Luoshu world. In the Hichu Luoshu world, Xiaohojua accepted the gratitude of the young Lion King and the old Lion King and nodded slightly. Then, he left them and went elsewhere to cultivate. After all, he was an immortal Emperor Realm expert. His status wasn't on the same level as Li Su and the others. They didn't have any interactions. After entering the Hichu Luoshu world, Morongyu immediately unblocked the meridians of the old Lion King and the young Lion King and treated them. In fact, they weren't injured. It was just that after becoming someone else's mount, they had lost their spirit and so on. These still needed to be slowly repaired. No one else could help. Morongyu, since the He clan has been destroyed, why don't you take over the Zhu clan? Isn't your heavenly court taking this opportunity to take control of the Bamboo province? Li Su asked Morongyu with a frown. He didn't understand why Morongyu gave up on the Zhu clan. After all, the resources of the Zhu clan were much better than the Feng clan. It was clear that before the heavenly court, the strongest faction in the Feng clan was only a third-rate faction. However, the Zhu clan had an immortal emperor. The gap between the two sides was huge. Morongyu shook his head and said with a smile, "The heavenly court is currently in a period of development. It's not suitable to continue expanding. Right now, many people are eyeing the heavenly court. If we take over the Zhu clan, I'm afraid there will immediately be factions that will wage war against the heavenly court." Li Su nodded and immediately understood. His heart was relieved. If the heavenly court took over the Zhu clan, the heavenly court's power would be scattered. Because of the expansion, there would definitely be people that would attack the heavenly court. At that time, the heavenly court's power would be scattered and it would be difficult to take care of each other. Moreover, it was not suitable for the heavenly court to start a large-scale war with other factions. "Old Lion King, what's going on? What's wrong with you?" Morongyu asked the old Lion King. The others also looked at the old Lion King. This was the answer they all wanted to know. The old Lion King revealed a bitter smile and slowly said, "Back then, I took advantage of the opening of the Immortal Ascension stage to enter the Immortal Realm. In a short time, I broke through to the Sky Immortal Realm. At that time, I appeared in the Zhu clan. However, after I broke through to the Sky Immortal Realm, I was discovered by He Hai. You all know what happened after that. So that's how it was." Everyone nodded in realization. Morongyu also finally understood why the old Lion King's power had been stagnant at the Sky Immortal Realm. It wasn't that his talent wasn't good enough. It was just that after he became a mount, how could he still have thoughts of cultivating? Since he didn't want to cultivate, his power naturally wouldn't continue to increase. Chapter 631. I wonder how Little Rock King, Hutong, and the others are doing. I hope nothing happens to them. Little Ape King sighed. When they were in the cultivation world, all of them were favored by the heavens. Not to mention their powerful backers, just their own strength was very strong. They were ranked in the top 10 of the younger generation. However, after ascending to a larger world like the immortal world and a larger stage, the gap between them and the experts of the immortal world became huge. It was not that their aptitude became trash, nor was it that the people of the immortal world generally had good aptitude. This had nothing to do with aptitude, but time. Just think about it, in the immortal world, which one of them did not cultivate for hundreds of millions of years? Moreover, cultivating for hundreds of millions of years was considered little. Many people cultivated for even longer. Therefore, their strength was stronger. If Little Ape King, Li Su, and the others were given the same amount of time, their achievements would not be low. However, how long would this take? Hundreds of millions of years? Unless they were in seclusion in a certain place and did not go out with their strength, it was very likely that they would die. And if they were to cultivate in seclusion, it would probably not be of any help to the growth of their strength. Other than Murongyu, everyone fell silent. Of course, Li Ling was not among them. This guy's aptitude seemed to be stronger than everyone present except for Murongyu. In fact, he did not use any immortal breakthrough pill to break through, but even so, he had already reached the golden immortal realm. His cultivation speed was also very terrifying. In comparison, Li Su and the others were slightly inferior. They were only in the mystic immortal realm. Although their cultivation speed was also very fast, in comparison, it was far inferior to Li Ling. Everyone, I have a suggestion. It's about your strength. I wonder if you're interested? Murongyu smiled and said to everyone, "What suggestion?" Old Lion King's eyes lit up. At the same time, Li Su and the others looked at Murongyu with burning eyes. Li Su, Little Lion King, you should know that I have pills that can help you break through your cultivation. At the same time, I also have a lot of resources in my hands. If you are willing, I can give you these pills and resources so that you can break through as soon as possible and reach a higher realm. Murongyu looked at everyone and said in a deep voice. The old Lion King was overjoyed, but the young Lion King and the others remained silent. Other than the old Lion King and the others, Li Su and the others had all stayed in Shenzhen for a period of time. Of course, they knew that Murongyu had a heaven-defying pill like the immortal expansion pill. However, at that time, they all refused to use this medicinal pill. They didn't want to rely on the power of pills to increase their strength. They wanted to increase their strength step by step. Therefore, they did not stay in Shenzhen. Instead, they chose to leave Shenzhen and wander the immortal world. Don't worry, this pill doesn't have any side effects. Also, don't forget that I'm a divine doctor. Even if this kind of pill has side effects, with my ability, I can completely eliminate them. With the terrifying power of life force, Murongyu only needed to inject a stream of life force to eliminate the side effects. There was no suspense at all. Damn it, when we're not strong, we're just ants. We're even worse than ants. Anyone can bully us. I've had enough of this kind of life. The young Lion King suddenly cursed. Then, he looked at Murongyu and said, Murong, I've decided to accept your suggestion. Also, I've decided to follow you from now on. After all, under a big tree like you, we can enjoy the shade better. Murongyu looked at the young Lion King and smiled. Then, he looked at the young Ape King and Li Su. I have no objections. The young Ape King and Li Su agreed. As for the old Lion King, he agreed immediately. After all, he had the highest seniority here, but his strength was the weakest. Also, after being captured as a pet mount for so many years, he had had enough of this kind of strength. If he was strong enough, the He family would not have dared to capture him as a pet mount. Therefore, his thirst for strength was the strongest among everyone present. In that case, you can break through in my space treasure during this period of time. As he spoke, Murongyu threw 4 storage rings to Li Su and the other 3. There were a large number of immortal pills and immortal meridians inside. The young Lion King and the others did not find it strange that Murong Yu threw out these valuable items so easily. The old Lion King was a little surprised. However, when he thought about how Murong Yu could even kill an immortal emperor of the He family, he was not shocked. The four of them began to cultivate in the Hechu Luoshu world, while Murong Yu had returned to Feng City. Butler Tian, how many stars did you get from this trip to Zhu province? Murong Yu smiled and transmitted his voice to Butler Tian. Young master, we got a total of 1,000,000 stars this time. The total number of stars has returned to 3,000,000 stars. Butler Tian immediately replied in Murong Yu's mind. Very good, it's much more than when we destroyed the Black Mysterious Sect. Murong Yu was quite satisfied with this result. In fact, the destruction of the He family was definitely not just a number of stars. However, Murong Yu did not personally kill many people. Other than him, there were 20 immortal monarchs and 300 immortal kings in the heavenly court. These people were also very ruthless and killed many of the He family's villains. Therefore, in the end, Murong Yu did not get many stars. Holy Lord, there's news of Soul Grass. Miao Yi walked in and reported shortly after Murong Yu returned to the heavenly court. Soul Grass. Murong Yu was stunned. He had long since stopped needing soul grass. However, although he had obtained soul grass, the news of him wanting to buy soul grass had not been removed. However, soul grass was very rare after all. It was worth 1,000,000 stars. It was very valuable. If he had more soul grass, he would not need it. Immediately, Murong Yu's interest was piqued. A few days ago, an immortal king came to Feng City to see the Holy Lord. He said he had news of soul grass. However, he had to tell you the details personally, so we don't know. Now the immortal king is outside. Let him in, Murong Yu said lightly. Then, a middle-aged immortal king slowly walked in. The immortal king's etiquette wasn't bad. He first bowed to Murong Yu and said, Heavenly Court's master, you're looking for soul grass. My master just happens to have a stock of soul grass. If the master of the heavenly court is interested, you can come to Tong State to discuss with my master. Murong Yu frowned slightly, feeling a little unhappy. However, he still asked lightly, Who is your master? What's the price for your master's soul grass? A proud expression appeared on the middle-aged immortal king's face as he slowly said, My master is the master of Tong State, the heaven-reaching celestial emperor. As for what price I have to pay in exchange for the soul grass, I don't know. Why don't you go to Tong State to discuss it with my master? Moreover, before I came to Feng City, my master told me that. The middle-aged immortal king looked at Murong Yu and paused for a moment before he continued to say, My master said that it's best to recover as soon as possible when one's soul is damaged. The longer it takes, the more damage it will cause to one's soul. Moreover, my master also said that if you were late, he might give away his soul grass to someone else. Therefore, my master hopes that you can go to Tong State as soon as possible. Murong Yu's eyes flashed coldly. He was even more displeased now. However, he was slightly surprised that the middle-aged immortal king was a titled celestial emperor. In the celestial world, there were celestial emperors and celestial venerables. However, celestial emperors were not qualified to be called celestial emperors. Generally speaking, one could only refer to them as celestial emperors instead of celestial emperors. For example, the heaven-reaching celestial emperor and the fallen great emperor Zhu Xian. Celestial emperors and great emperors were titled celestial emperors. After all, titled celestial emperors were the strongest among celestial emperors. Apart from that, titled celestial emperors were much stronger than ordinary celestial emperors in other aspects. Otherwise, they would not have been titled celestial emperors. In layman's terms, titled celestial emperors were the kings of celestial emperors. The heaven-reaching celestial emperor was such a powerhouse. However, Murong Yu was displeased that the heaven-reaching celestial emperor had noticed him. Moreover, the heaven-reaching celestial emperor's words were laced with a hint of threat. If Murong Yu still needed the soul grass, he would have gone to Tong State as soon as possible. However, now? Murong Yu sneered and said to the middle-aged celestial king, "Go back and tell your master that I'll visit him when I have time." The middle-aged celestial king was shocked when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. Murong Yu's reaction was beyond his expectations. In his opinion, Murong Yu should be overjoyed and would rush to Tong State as soon as possible. "Didn't you hear what the Holy Lord said? You should hurry back to Tong State and report to your master." Miao Yi sneered at the middle-aged celestial king. He was also displeased with the heaven-reaching celestial emperor. The middle-aged celestial king glared at Murong Yu before he left Feng City. "Holy Lord, what about the soul grass?" "I'll make my own decision." Miao Yi passed down the order to stop asking for soul grass, Murong Yu said indifferently. Since the heaven-reaching celestial emperor thought Murong Yu was in need of soul grass and threatened him, he might as well ignore the heaven-reaching celestial emperor. Miao Yi was, naturally, overjoyed when he heard Murong Yu's words. Therefore, he quickly left to deal with the matter. Chapter 632. What is this sky-piercing immortal emperor trying to do? Murong Yu furrowed his brows as he stood alone in the hall. The opponent was powerful. Not only was the heaven-reaching immortal emperor himself, but his faction was also a superpower. There was no doubt about his strength. Murong Yu did not think that the heaven-reaching immortal emperor would get involved with Murong Yu because of the soul grass. The soul grass could repair the soul. It was extremely rare and almost never existed. Anyone who obtained a soul grass would choose to store it away in case of an emergency. After all, who could guarantee that there would not be any accidents that would cause damage to one's soul? Even those immortal venerables weren't invincible. There were gods above immortal venerables. As for the soul grass, no matter the level of the expert, it would be effective. Therefore, if it were Murong Yu, he definitely wouldn't trade the soul grass away. After all, it was better to have such a treasure in his own hands. Unless this person wanted to exchange it for something, and that something was only as valuable as the soul grass. The opponent was the heaven-reaching immortal emperor, the leader of a superpower. What did he lack? Even if he did lack something, he would not look for Murong Yu. Could it be that he wants my medical skills? If that's the case, then his attitude is wrong. Murong Yu sneered in his heart. No matter what the opponent was planning, Murong Yu felt that he was up to no good. However, the heaven-reaching immortal emperor was too powerful. Murong Yu did not want to make enemies with them now. After all, the Immortal Palace and the Devil Sect were still eyeing Murong Yu covetously. He did not know when they would reach out their claws and give Murong Yu a hard time. If he had a conflict with the heaven-reaching immortal emperor, Murong Yu would be in even more danger. Therefore, Murong Yu automatically ignored the heaven-reaching immortal emperor. He did not want to provoke this expert now. As for Murong Yu's reaction to heaven-reaching immortal emperor's reply, Murong Yu did not know, nor did he care. Now, he only traveled back and forth between the Celestial Court, Shenzhen, and the Celestial Palace. When he had nothing to do, he would cultivate. His days were very comfortable. At that moment, with the support of the fairy expansion pills and various other resources, Shenzhen, Celestial Palace, and Li Su's strength were all rapidly increasing. On Shenzhen's side, Duanmu Qing, Zhang Ao, and the others had all reached the Nine Heavens Xian immortal realm. The reason why they were able to reach this level in such a short time was because of the immortal expansion pills, various resources, and their own hard work. However, after reaching the Nine Heavens Xian immortal realm, it would be difficult for them to break through to the immortal king realm, unless Murong Yu got the king-breaking elixir. However, where was the king-breaking pill? He might have the heavenly punishment order, but Murong Yu wouldn't exchange it for a king breakthrough pill in the near future. Increasing their strength too quickly might not be a good thing for Duanmu Qing and the others. After reaching the Nine Heavens Xian immortal realm, they would need time to consolidate their cultivation. The bigger reason was because of the Nanling Mountains. In the southern mountains, if an expert of the immortal king realm or above entered, they would be killed. Before solving this problem, Murong Yu didn't want anyone from Shenzhen or Celestial Palace to reach the immortal king realm. Although the gap between Shenzhen and Celestial Palace and the Celestial Court was increasing day by day. However, on the Celestial Court side, Murong Yu didn't give them the immortal expansion pills. The Celestial Court was different from Shenzhen and Celestial Palace. Although it belonged to Murong Yu, there were many experts of each cultivation level here. For the time being, they didn't need the immortal expansion pills to increase their strength. Now, what Murong Yu wanted to do was to recruit more experts into the Celestial Court. Time continued to pass. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed. In these 100 years, Murong Yu's strength still showed no signs of a breakthrough. However, the Celestial Court's development was very strong. At this time, there were already 10 immortal emperors in the Celestial Court. These 10 were all experts who had joined the Celestial Court. In addition, there were more than 200 immortal dukes. In the Celestial Court, there were already 3,000 immortal kings. With such a number of experts, in addition to Murong Yu's strong foundation in the celestial punishment world, the Celestial Court had become a true superpower. Of course, this was the Celestial Court's true strength. However, the outside world didn't think so. In the eyes of outsiders, the Celestial Court was just a nouveau riche. So what if there were 10 immortal emperors? At most, it was a superpower. They all felt that the Celestial Court's development and rise were too fast. Although their strength had increased tremendously, they didn't have a strong foundation. Naturally, they couldn't become a superpower. In response, Murong Yu only smiled in response. What level of power was the Celestial Court? This was not what Murong Yu was concerned about. However, if outsiders really saw the Celestial Court as a nouveau riche force, then they were wrong. As the Celestial Court developed, all kinds of dangers began to appear. First of all, the rapid rise of the Celestial Court had made the forces in the nearby large states feel threatened. Although these forces didn't directly take action against the Celestial Court, they were secretly suppressing the Celestial Court's development. In addition, the Immortal Palace also began to take action. However, the Immortal Palace didn't take action directly. Instead, they let their subordinate forces begin to suppress the Celestial Court in all aspects. There were even all kinds of pressure from the Celestial Court. The Celestial Court's development was beyond everyone's expectations. This made some people in the Celestial Court jealous and wanted to control the Celestial Court in their own hand. However, how could it be so easy to control or suppress the Celestial Court? First of all, although the Celestial Court's power was strong, it was limited within the Feng state and didn't spread out of the Feng state. As a result, those forces who wanted to suppress the Celestial Court didn't know where to start. This was because the entire Feng state was controlled by the Celestial Court. There were no other forces. Other forces couldn't suppress the Celestial Court. In fact, this method of the Celestial Court wasn't good. Ordinary forces had businesses in many places. After all, a large sect's daily consumption was very terrifying. They needed all kinds of businesses to support the sect's operation. Therefore, these sects had all kinds of businesses and branches. However, the Celestial Court didn't need these at all. Because Murong Yu didn't need these businesses to maintain the Celestial Court's operation. He had the entire heavenly punishment world as his backing. In this world, no one was richer than him. 7 times, the elders of the heavenly punishment palace, or some faction, wanted to have ideas about the Celestial Court. Murong Yu directly ignored them and didn't come into contact with these people at all. However, this was only temporary. The pressure from all sides was like a spring. The stronger the pressure, the stronger the rebound force. Of course, Murong-yu wasn't afraid. With the celestial court's development speed, it wouldn't be long before they became even stronger. At that time, even if the Immortal Palace wanted to make a move against him, they would have to think twice. Hichu, the chaotic celestial record hasn't moved at all. Murong-yu sat in the main hall of the celestial court and said somewhat speechlessly. In the past 100 years, he had been constantly cultivating various cultivation methods. He had comprehended the army formula and the battle formula and had become more profound. The Black Tortoise Sutra had also improved. However, the chaotic celestial record, which determined his realm, hadn't made any progress. Since he couldn't break through the chaotic celestial record, his realm was stuck at the perfected golden immortal realm. His dragon power seemed to have reached its limit and couldn't continue to increase. Young master, don't be impatient. Your cultivation speed is already very fast. Think about it, if other people want to cultivate to the perfected golden immortal realm, which one of them doesn't need hundreds of millions of years? You've only cultivated for a total of 10,000 years. Murong-yu rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, Hichu, can you put it in another way next time? You've said this many times already. That's because you've asked this question many times, young master, Hichu said helplessly. He felt that Murong-yu had been a little anxious recently. I don't know why, but I've been feeling a little restless recently. Jiqing and the others are fine, Murong-yu said in a deep voice. He felt restless and even had a feeling of danger. This feeling wasn't a good thing. If something were to happen recently, Murong-yu needed to be stronger to deal with it. Young master, calm down. When the boat reaches the bridge, it will cross the bridge. As long as the time is right, you can naturally break through, Hichu said faintly. Murong-yu nodded. He was also a little anxious. It wasn't just because of that bad feeling. It was also because he felt that his strength had increased to the limit, but the chaotic celestial body record had been stuck. It had been stuck, which made Murong-yu very unhappy. Sacred Master, there's a woman outside who claims to be from the Mu clan. She says that she has an extremely urgent matter to discuss with you. At this moment, Hong-yu transmitted a message from outside the palace. The Mu clan? Murong-yu was stunned. He couldn't help but think of Mu Liue, the woman who had raped him. He wondered how she was doing now. Could it be that she had come? Let her in. As he spoke, Murong-yu's divine thought spread out. However, to his disappointment, the woman outside was not Mu Liue. It was a young woman about 20 years old. She was very powerful and had reached the 9 heavens Xian immortal realm. However, this woman looked worried and her brows were tightly knitted as if she was worried about something. Greetings, Sacred Master Murong. I'm Mu Tong. Although Mu Tong was a 9 heavens Xian immortal realm, she still had to be polite when she saw Murong-yu. She didn't look down on Murong-yu because he was only a perfected golden immortal realm. This was because Murong-yu's status was worth it. A perfected golden immortal controlled a force that had 10 immortal emperors and 200 immortal dukes. Such a person must have a very strong personality and charisma. He must also have extraordinary means and wisdom. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to control such a huge heavenly court. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.